Hello, good morning.
Ah, hello.
It's another beautiful Morgan Monday.
Who up morganing they Mondays?
Who Morganing Day Mondays? Um, every time I think about, every time I think about the guys from last week, I just laugh. Why did they do that?
Uh, when you say they and that, what do you mean?
You know,
Why did they get owned? Why did the devs do something so
why,
funny?
why, why did the devs do something so funny?
Oh, what was funny?
Hold on, oh, high roller mode, nice. I guess I could have no, I hit continue. I'm a little spacey today. So last week was extremely funny because we started up the episode. We're immediately introduced to these guys that were like pretty much the only thing that I'd seen about this episode before playing it. Like these four guys who were in a gang together, and we see Morgan kind of talking with them, trying to like reason out a deal with them, and then she kills all of them. She morgues all over them.
I didn't know about it going in. So, as I was meeting them, I was just like, "This is a great collection of guys. I can't wait to see what it'll be like to like cross-examine them." Oh,
It's such a good collection of kids. I do hope there's not like, I mean, this is episode 2, so I assume anyone who would be worried about spoilers probably didn't even click in. Or part 2 of episode 2, so either way, however you slice it. But it's too, even if it never comes up again, it's too funny to go unremarked upon. So we also, after that, Morgan went to her friend's place, and I don't remember his name, but we got.
I didn't notice that it's actually called Morgan time.
I really like when she said it's Morgan time and morgued all over. Reinhardt, quote unquote, boss, Diamani, friend of Morgan's, runs a bar, has taken on Sarah, teaching her those
Web
drinks.
pages that take too long.
Say what?
Hates web pages that take too long to load.
And don't mention the speed at which his bar's website loads. I've connected the dots. And then while we were talking with him, we got contacted by 2 Homestuck characters.
Oh no.
Who asked us to come and meet with the Icaria family, one of the major crime families in the city. This is notable because they came up in episode 1 in a way that I don't actually completely remember. But I think it was connected to this election topic. Renaming the pillars that hold up the quote-unquote canopy of the upper city to be named after major figures. I think there was an article about that in episode 1 that mentioned the Icaria family wanted in on that. And then also more pertinently, the guys from the beginning of the episode have beef with the Icaria. Or had.
Well, maybe they still feel that beef in the afterlife.
Yeah, and admittedly, they're. I'm pretty sure they were part of a bigger organization. So it's just. Also, hey, wait a minute. Search terms. Blue blood. Okay,
That reminds me. That reminds me of a thought I had the other day, and this isn't like. Again, this is not me hinting at something that I've seen in like this chapter or something. This is me just thinking about how interested this game is in kind of being expecting the people playing it to have investment with Phoenix Wright and playing with expectations. I have been thinking, like, Sarah's an android. What if sometime during a future case, like, there's a little bit of coming to your rescue is a little bit of implanted. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. The most beautiful man alive, your dead friend.
Goodness.
And so she fully fulfills the being Maya Fey, summoning your friend to help you.
Oh.
Just think that would be beautiful.
I could see it, considering some of the very, like... Both, like you said, playing with people having a fondness for Phoenix Wright, and also just straight up the handful of references to it we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we are at the home or base or home base or secret fourth thing of the Icaria family.
He's home.
And they've got cicadas.
Yeah.
It was a quiet and uneventful drive in the back of the limousine. The privacy, at least, was nice. But with Abbott and Costello riding in the front, I had no way of getting information out of them, not even passively.
How do you know that reference?
They're still famous.
It's weird enough. It's weird enough that I know that reference. Like, but you are 90 years older, like younger than me, Morgan. Well, not 90 years.
Maybe she didn't know them, but she's been watching movies with Sarah.
Oh, Sarah would have been shown old movies. Like ancient movies.
The classics. The movies that people from what we call the classics now used to call the classics. So instead, I spent the whole ride trying to play out all the different ways that this could go. I haven't liked any of them so far. I suppose I should have felt relief or gratitude when we pulled up outside of an imposing skyscraper instead of an alley. I suppose it's a good sign that no one's put a bag over my head or stuck a needle in my neck. But I don't feel like celebrating. For all I know, they really don't have a clue about what I did in the lower wards last night. But for some reason, they've placed their attention on me. And there's little I hate more than unwanted advances. I'm also not a fan of being made to wait. Why am I just sitting out here? In here? We kind of each took one of these guys, but nothing about them stands out enough for me to remember who was who.
I think you I think they got introduced in a way where it was the second one. It was really obvious what was going on, and the first one is the second one is shade slick, and at that point it's inarguable. Suit Noir is just vague enough.
Oh yeah, I mean like voices.
And I think you took the first one.
That could be.
I don't remember.
I doubt it'll matter though. We were too late.
Only by a few minutes.
He filled the time slot.
Already? We got no chance of...
Maybe if his other meeting went well. Are we on hold, gentlemen? In the world's most expensive waiting room? Quiet. I take it he's glaring at me behind those lenses, but I'm more interested in the sweat glistening on his forehead. Somehow, of the three of us, I'm the most relaxed. This is becoming embarrassing. Can I at least take in the view while we're here?
Take photos if you like, so long as you're quiet.
Really?
No, your phone won't work in here.
Go figure. I did since I've been playing Honkai Star Rail and they put out the big new world update like last week I guess technically.
Yeah, Friday.
They gave out a free character, so I picked up Kafka and she's I've restructured a team around her.
Yeah, Kafka is a character in any given gacha I'm playing. I will exactly once bother to save up resources to get a guaranteed pull, and Kafka was my one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just constantly pulling because I have the devil's luck.
That's true. I did have a resource, not really for anything, but a resource saved up, and I got the advice that 2 of the other characters who were running now were good for support for Kafka, so I went to pull for them just because, and I got them both as well.
Nice.
But this is all to say that she's been on my mind even more than usual lately. Go fish. If I weren't hyper-aware of the flickering sky hanging over my head, this could make for a lovely watering hole. But those probably aren't even real fish down there. Literal children are capable of keeping goldfish alive, so of course the 0.1%ers can't manage it.
Being owned.
Maybe they'd spin it. When their pallid bodies float to the top because some idiot raised the water temperature 2 degrees, they'd certainly be easy to scoop out. If you're an impatient, undignified idiot, you could argue that it's an efficient way to fish.
Fucking got their asses.
Get fucked. The illusion isn't unimpressive, I guess. Windows into the heavens, sparkling like raindrops across a puddle. It might even be appealing if it wasn't trying to be something it's not. You look up and see hexagons above you in the lower wards, too. Rich or poor, people just can't imagine themselves under an open sky anymore. Not even in their wildest dreams. Ugh. Okay, there's only one more thing? Feels like there's such a big span of stuff that can't be remarked upon, but... Is it trying too hard to look unconcerned if I sit down and start reading the news? Maybe, but my boredom outweighs my apprehension at the moment. Not my fault that they've failed to be sufficiently intimidating. PSS Proposition City ahead of next month's convention. What? Oh, proposition is a verb here, I think. Next month, the city will play host to one of the most competitive political conventions in recent memory, with Senator Mathings expected to face significant opposition from party outliers before securing his nomination. But while the broader nation eagerly anticipates the oncoming political circus, city officials are already under fire for a supposed lack of sufficient convention security. The city has already approved a record-high monthly budget for the police department, including fully unrestricted overtime for officers of all ranks. But a coalition of private security services, including Whiteadder, Fang, and Demico, has released a press statement urging City Council to consider contracting their services ahead of the convention. Heartbreak was bad enough. Now we're hearing that cops are dying in the lower wards. When are city officials going to say enough is enough? said Demico head of press relations Arthur Gall. We have the utmost respect for all first responders. None of us are blaming the hard-working police for these failures. How could they succeed when political insiders insist that they try to apprehend criminals with one hand tied behind their back? Our contracted forces have world-class training in crowd pacification, preemptive de-escalation, and enhanced interrogation tactics. And any of the subhuman scum who emphasize with anarchists won't dare to leave their mother's basements once we can get our boots on the ground. That's a guarantee. City Council declined to comment when we reached out to them to ask whether they would be issuing a request for proposals on such services. The total city population is expected to swell next month as the national political spotlight draws lobbyists, delegates, political action committees, and voters in ahead of the 2-week-long process. Most of the community members we spoke to expressed optimism about the increase in economic activity and tourism the convention is expected to bring, but some who refused to give us their permission to publish their identifying info rudely and loudly voiced their criticism. 2 weeks for a convention when the nominee was decided 2 years ago? It's a joke, and we're the punchline. Footing the bill to pay cops to stand around outside parties full of thousands of do-nothing staffers and campaign managers. This article is presented to you advertiser-free thanks to the contributions of our generous donors, including Daniel Mass of the Daniel Mass Foundation, Rebecca E. Jones of the Rebecca E. Jones Foundation, Jessica and Ronald McGill of the McGill Foundation for the Arts and Sciences, the Rockford Fund for Public Broadcasting, and readers like you. Thank you. Please sign in to read the rest. Rockford Fund, huh? Oh, we haven't gotten her profile yet for this episode. But she's right here with us. Okay. I suppose it's less offensive than a bare advertisement or paywall, but why list your donors mid-article? All it does is make my eyes glaze over. Whatever, I got the important part. The city's hosting that convention next month, putting pressure on the council to vote on... I don't think they're actually trying to vote on hiring mercenaries. That's not the one. Political convention. Senator facing opposition from party outliers. And then, yeah, the mercenaries are one speech bubble with tales going all to all of the companies. Surely my mercenary force will be the one to rise. It's a contested convention. Mavings is the incumbent and frontrunner, but if he doesn't get a show of support from the locals, it'll have as much impact as a fly on a windshield. The city council's of much more concern to those private security mercs. Salesmen trying to convince them that the city needs even more armed men playing on their phones to be truly safe. Everyone knows Mavings will be the candidate. That was decided years ago. Okay. I misunderstood. They hate me. The contested convention will just be him finding a balance between how much public opposition he's willing to stomach against how many favors he feels like giving out. This country's already a circus without any bread. You'd think the least they could do is make the performances entertaining. What was that in the article about cops dying in the lower wards anyway? Pretty heavy-handed to just make up that kind of thing, even when pearl-clutching and pitching herself at the same time. Well, I've looked around at everything that caught my eye, and now I'm all out of ideas. Everything except... Maybe they don't know we're here. I'm gonna try knocking. What are you? Hey! Before I get the chance, creaking oak draws my attention to an alternate entrance on the other side of the water. Oh my god. Deploy my warriors. Stop staring and get a move on. If that's the kind of man walking out of this place, who's waiting for me inside? "4:09 p.m., August 14th, 2086. Ikaria Tower. Residential floors. Grand Hall. Pomp and circumstance, ceremony and ritual. For some reason I thought that the Mafia of all people would be a little more efficient in their execution. A little more honest about what they are. Evidently not. Artifice with every glance. Costumes and makeup abound. Is this disappointment? That even here in the supposed bowels of the underworld that there's no escaping the etiquette of it all? She's the one? Doesn't look like much. Peons!
Sitting up straight.
Say what?
I'm just sitting up straight.
Oh, it's wise. I guess that's my thing that I say today. Suddenly, their posture stiffens even further. A true feat. Their necks subtly turn to a pair of doors in the back, each of them attuned to some signal I'm not receiving. Be still. The young master returns.
You're late.
Hold on, wait. Young master, sir, Everyone slowed down.
And as soon as we found her, sir, traffic was...
This is just some sassy lost child.
Silence! Yes, sir. What time were you told to return by?
4 o'clock, sir.
And what time is it now?
Permission to check my phone.
You're late.
Just a quick double check. Okay. Probably less than 9 minutes late because of the waiting around and looking around.
You were tasked with finding one woman and bringing her here in a timely manner. Sir, You'll speak when I tell you to, and not one word further, or else I'll have your teeth removed. By way of curbside.
Is this a prank? Am I being recorded?
He who wishes to fight must first count the cost. So says Sun Tzu.
Please let this be a prank.
And I don't think you can fathom the cost your tardiness has incurred.
If the lead up to my execution is some kid reading from Art of War, I might just...
What is the #1 rule in this family?
Timeliness, sir.
When money gets wasted, it can be replaced. But time only goes one way. It's always running out. A loss is permanent. Every second wasted is a scar on this house's face. Timeliness is next to godliness. So say I.
Well, okay, I was gonna say I don't think anyone says that, but I guess he does. Oh, God.
So, if you two ever waste my time, this house's time, again, expect expect to be dragged through hell?
I am already there.
Now, both of you, get out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Useless. You. Red woman, you're being addressed.
Forget pride. I just want this over with as fast as possible.
You're the lawyer, correct? You may answer.
As fast as possible. I am a lawyer. Morgan, criminal defense, Mr. How should I address you?
As all outsiders do, by my name. Makoto of House Ikaria.
Go ahead and take a peek at that. February 27th, coming up soon. Wait, such impudence. Occupation, heir apparent, unemployed student. Likes, biographies, shogi, amber. Dislikes, tardiness, tarnish, group assignments. Favorite figures, Saladin, Sun Tzu, Hannibal. I assume the historical one and not the cannibal one.
That's a shame, because otherwise we could win him on our side and tell him the truth.
That's true. Favorite phrase, Vae Victis, woe to the conquered. Relaxes by building and painting models. How humanizing.
You, Morgan Criminal Dufens, have the great honor of being summoned before me. Don't bother bowing. Once you start, you'll end up prostrated all day and will have very important work to do.
Right. Out of an abundance of respect for your time, Makoto, I should let you know that I still have no idea what I'm doing here.
Oh. I'll have them kneel on a bed of nails or later, or some such thing. Mrs. Dufens.
Mrs., really?
The house has need of your legal services.
Oh. Would you give me a moment to clear my throat? I need to switch gears. Un instant. Right then. So you want to hire me?
One of our own is being slandered by multiple homicide charges. You will defend him.
Ah. You want to hire me, and I'm flattered, Makoto, but did you pull my name out of a hat? Pick a random page in the phone book?
I have many books on my phone. Libraries full of esoteric knowledge spread across countless tomes. You will have to be more specific.
Sorry, I misspoke. What I mean is, this is House Ikaria. You must keep a small army of lawyers on retainer. Surely any one of them would be happy to help you.
True, we have lawyers. Competent ones, expensive ones, and some who are both.
That's good.
Might
Competent
wanna
ones
fire
and
the
expensive ones.
Incompetent one.
Rank all lawyers on a scale of both competence and expensiveness. Hire me the one that ranks the highest on price and the lowest on competency. I'm seeking to spend my money on a fool today.
But the best of them are all preoccupied.
I see. That's it. They're all just preoccupied.
Preoccupied means busy.
Thanks. But I'm still not sure how my name specifically was...
Do you have a customer survey you want filled out, Mrs. Dufens? You were recommended. What does it matter how it came about?
Normally, it wouldn't matter. But when the client I'm recommended to is one of the richest, most well-connected families in the country, it gives me pause. I don't have any friends in high places. Not anymore. That makes it hard to see this as a favor. Not when my employer doesn't even know my goddamn name. Of course, my apologies.
No doubt you have other questions. Very well, I'll permit you to ask them.
Such a gentleman. If I wasn't brought here because of what happened last night, then this is just another job. Meaning all of this, starting back at the bar. This has all just been their idea of a power move. Thank you for insisting that I get to visit your estate in person. It's beautiful here.
An oasis of old-world sensibilities amidst a desert of steel and neon eyesores, is what the house elders say.
I have never seen anything like it. It matches your family's reputation for class.
Ha! My family's reputation is power, not class.
I'd take it a step further and guess you're renowned for violence rather than power. But that's a moot point. Violence can be classy. And from how this house is talked about in the headlines I read on the drive over, the nature of your family's reputation seems to vary greatly depending on who you ask. Some think you've got half the gangs in the city under your control. Others think you've left all that behind and are no worse than any other corporate family.
You're expecting me to ask you what you think?
What I think is that I'll need some basic information if I'm to adequately defend your interests.
We're financiers.
You don't say.
Lending, investing, taking over, buying out. The Ikaria Financial Group was founded nearly 2 centuries ago. Loaning funds is high risk and high reward, but as you can see, our results speak for themselves.
Ikaria Financial Group. Fancy way of saying they got their start as mobster loan sharks. It's not impossible to get this rich with loan sharking alone. But such unsavory work wouldn't get them into the ballrooms and boardrooms tiers of society. You gotta rip people off with mortgages?
Yeah, it's mortgages.
You gotta rip people off with mortgages to do that. Yet another, disrespectful move by the French. Is lending the house's only income stream?
No. Through Aria, our holding company, the house controls any number of what a civilian like you might call legitimate enterprises. And yes, we did found the Renogen Pharmaceutical Corporation, but what's past is prologue.
Renogen? They're a drug company, one of the biggest. You're saying you've no relation to Renogen presently?
The company went public years ago, and Aria divested our shares not long after. We were given a 1 seat on the board as a formality. That's the extent of it.
Given? A family like this only takes. Why is he suddenly so humble? He doesn't know the meaning of the word. If he's downplaying their pull within Renogen, then the house must have a reason to want to distance themselves from the company. You're being very modest, Makoto. And more than a little vague.
It's only polite.
It's unnecessary talking to your lawyer.
You aren't my lawyer, Mrs. Dupens, but you will be working for me. So you'll have to become accustomed to putting your needs second.
He's deflecting, and if he's trying to be subtle about it, he's not doing it well. I doubt it's possible a company with as big a boot heel as Renogen has no relation to anything that happens in this city, but I'll drop it for now. I'm in no rush to wade into boardroom politics again anytime soon. Quick terms check. Ikaria, showing results for the financial group, a private investment company and one of the nation's most exclusive assets managers as of 2086. We believe that investing should be accessible to anyone, and that's best accomplished by tailoring their investment portfolio to suit their specific needs. Interested in working with us? Let's get started on your profile below so we can determine your options. Remember, even if you unfortunately aren't a good fit for IFG itself, we'll always be happy to set you up with one or more of our partners that are better suited to your class. Not interested in sponsored search results? Seek further with a premium account. Renogen Pharmaceuticals LLC is a global leader in pharmaceutical research, development, and distribution. A company that puts your health before any other concern. Our groundbreaking research into combating modern medical challenges has helped millions live happy, healthy lives, and we're proud to keep fighting that fight as we pursue our corporate goals. Put our medicine in the cabinet of every home. Improve patients' lives and their communities. Minimize our environmental footprint through sustainable ventures. Operate with dignity and pride in our ethics. Deliver consistent, steady growth to our investors. Shortly after our founding, our researchers developed metformin, the first orally ingested treatment for type 2 abnormal diabetes, freeing millions of adolescents suffering from its effects from being subjected to painful injections. Since then, we've gone on to improve our formulation, and that constant dedication to perfecting our medicines has made us a national leader in pharmaceutical biosimilars. We're obsessed with perfection and driven by purpose. We'll never stop searching for the next step in the evolution of what it means to be healthy. Not interested in sponsored search results? See further with a premium account. Ugh. Tell me about your you. I'd like to know a bit more about you, actually. How long have you...
He says. I am the only son of Raphael Icaria, and the only grandson of Daisuke Icaria, CEO of the Icaria Financial Group, patriarch of this family, and chairman of the house.
I gather that those titles are all one and the same.
As one destined to succeed, the headship, commanding the family's servants, is my responsibility and my birthright.
So, if one of them needs a lawyer, it falls to you?
When our loyal men, women, or their families need help, it is my solemn duty to ensure that they are taken care of.
And your age?
What a boorish question. I knew that peasants raised outside of our status had little understanding of the finer things. But I assumed that one with a law degree would be educated enough to know what is and isn't appropriate to discuss.
Oh.
Just because I am younger than some does not mean I am any less capable of managing the people who work for me. Does it, men?
Sir, no, sir. You definitely command their respect.
That is no coincidence. One of the most frequently noted characteristics of great men who have remained great is loyalty to their subordinates. So says George S. Patton.
That's so interesting.
This is an important point. Perhaps another quote is called for.
I don't think that's necessary.
I'll grant you another. If soldiers are punished before they have grown attached to you, they will not prove submissive. And, unless submissive, then they will be practically useless. So says Sun Tzu.
Back to back.
Yes, a second quotation was called for in this instance. If only to emphasize to you that no one stays useless to House Icaria for very long. One way or another.
Thinking of the TF2 Sun Tzu quote.
Sun Tzu said that, and I think he knows a little bit more about this than you do, pal, because he invented it.
It's so good. I'll admit, I was a little taken aback to step off an elevator and into your enclosure out there.
Gardens? Yes, our groundskeepers work hard on them.
Does the illusion of the sky come from a live recording of somewhere else? Or is it generated programmatically? That'd take quite the equation.
It is impressive, yes. As for how it works, I don't have the technical minutia in front of me at the moment.
That's okay.
Of course it is. A lion does not concern himself with the exterior decorations of the sheep.
It's your exterior and your decorations.
Does it matter, anyway? If you want the specifics so badly, I'll have one of the servants put you in contact with the contracting firm.
That's alright. Something tells me the consultation alone would break my bank account. I do appreciate the warm welcome, Makoto of House Ikaria, really. But legal consultations are usually more private than this. Are we certain we need the peanut gallery?
Let it not be said that House Ikaria is not accommodating of its guests. We are more than capable of compensating for this nut allergy you allude to.
That's so sweet of you. But do all these guards really need to be present for this conversation?
If you're referring to the additional security, it can't be helped, circumstances being what they are.
Circumstances?
And if you're referring to my retainers in general, then I suggest you step back into the garden and take a deep breath. Clearly, the city's fumes do not agree with your constitution. You must be lightheaded if you think that you're worthy to hold a one-on-one conversation with the next head of this illustrious house.
He's a prodigy to be this insufferable at such a young age. Thank you for indulging my curiosity so graciously, Makoto.
Conquer the stingy through generosity. So says...
Buddha.
Correct. Perhaps your education is not quite as deficient as I feared. But I should make clear that in this case I was using the quote to subtly imply that you are stingy with your own graciousness.
Got it, yep. Shall we move on? I believe you mentioned a homicide?
Multiple homicides.
Tell me more.
My head of security was arrested by the police last night in the lower wards. They found him brutally beaten, drugged, and tortured. And instead of bringing him straight to a hospital, they arrested him for murder. He's been framed, and you must prove his innocence.
Uh-oh. Un instant.
Is there something wrong with your voice? Is this that's a peanut allergy you mentioned?
No, I just lost my train of thought for a second there. I'm not used to my own luck changing this fast. One of the richest families in the city wants to pay me to prove a man's innocent of a crime I framed him for? Right, then, might I ask why he was found in the lower wards? I get the impression that Ikaria territory is generally positioned more vertically.
This whole city is our territory. This is our city, our time. But it is true that our presence is felt more strongly in some areas than others. It captured him early yesterday. He was ambushed by cowards and dragged down to that stain of a neighborhood to be tortured senselessly.
Well, he was tortured, I can attest to that much. But I don't believe in senseless violence. There's always a purpose, and it's usually staring you in the face. People just don't like making eye contact. Do you have any idea why he was taken, or by whom?
It was the Blue Bloods. They made no effort to hide it. A worthy opponent, I might call that commendable. But knowing them, they're just too stupid to value deniability.
I'm sure. And I'm sure there's no love lost between your groups, but kidnapping and torturing.
It's beyond the pale, I agree. And the police are even worse. I expected no help from those incompetent fools, but these charges they're making, they're utterly ridiculous.
Of course they are.
To think they want to pin 5 murders on him.
Five? Confident I can. Did you say 5?
Yes, 5. It's absurd.
I can only take credit for 4 bodies.
Acting so high and mighty, so affronted, so eager to blame us for the death of one of their officers.
A dead cop? Is this what those mercs were advertising themselves with? What do you mean, one of their officers? Was there a UC, or...?
No, they've made a ridiculous claim that he killed some uniform while resisting arrest. As if a member of our house would fear prison.
I should have never dared to think I got lucky here. These circumstances sound very complex, Makoto, and the police take the death of one of their own very seriously. What makes you so certain of this man's innocence?
Because this man's name is Sosuke Ikaria.
The Hound.
I've known him all my life.
All 3 or 4 years of it.
There is no individual more honorable, more devoted, more trustworthy. Not once have I ever known him to be...
Violent?
impulsive. He didn't do this. I know he didn't do this. But proving that is your job.
About that. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, Makoto.
But you will. If for no other reason than because we shall pay you more than you customarily receive for a contract. Considerably more.
Not everything's a question of money.
Yes, your meaning is taken. It needn't be silver and gold. I'll have no complaints with your compensation. The favor of House Ikaria can go a long way in this city. As can our wrath.
I don't appreciate being threatened. I don't find it funny, even coming from a kid. However, if the state thinks whoever killed those 4 blue bloods also killed a cop, I can't afford to sit this hand out. They'll go over every centimeter of that building. One wrong move, one hair out of place. If I lose here, I lose, period. But if I win, throwing an Ikaria-sized wallet in the pot beforehand is all upside. I understand, Makoto of House Ikaria. I'll take Sosuke's case.
You say that as if it were ever in doubt.
A true prodigy. But he might be right. Maybe it never was. I chose to put that gun into this Sosuke's hands when I could have just plunged that knife into his temple. Maybe the line drawn from that moment to the razor edge I'm walking right now is perfectly straight. A line drawn from one point to another is always perfectly straight. A better metaphor would be a bullet's trajectory. For all the talk of wind resistance and breathing patterns and the Coriolis effect and chaos theory, you can't exactly act surprised when your shot lands right where the crosshairs were pointing. Morgan's my last name, by the way, before you start writing any checks.
You should have enunciated.
Half an hour later. In transit. Hey there, boss.
Ooh, okay, hold on. Gotta bring it down a little bit.
Of course I'm fine. What did you think was going to happen? Yeah, all good news. I've got quite the paycheck coming my way. Maybe bad news for you if you get a large crowd tonight. Yeah, tell Sarah to meet me at the police station address I'm about to send. I've got work for her to do. There will be quite the paycheck indeed waiting for me, assuming I can win. But can I afford to accept it? Ugh. Which? Hey. Were any of those jokes around the office about your clients being connected to organized crime true? What? Is this some kind of honeypot? Trying to get a grasp on something? Now I know you're baiting me. Real devious, that's what she said, layup. I'll still basket that shit though, I don't give a fuck. Why do you make everything so hard? Come on. Like, come on, Freckles. Low-hanging fruit. I have no idea what you're talking about. Obviously. Why are you asking me about mafia shit, though? I'm working a case for the Icaria, whom I assume you've heard of. Definitely. Under circumstances that are probably vulgar. Absolutely. Which you'd be happy to brag about to me anytime. But I'm not well positioned to turn down the job outright. So I'd like to know whether they'll be resistant about parting ways afterwards. Why? Do you not like getting paid lots of money? I don't like being chained. Fair enough. So you're like, just asking for my advice? The oral loss is incredible. Not going to attempt to parse that. I doubt you ever could. My generation's sense of humor is practically impregnable. It was a very basic non sequitur, Auntie. It just wasn't funny. Not even. A non sequitur would be... What's the charge? Let's just getting back on topic. The charge is homicide. 5 counts. Meh. You're probably fine. All the stuff you hear about mobsters being clingy with their lawyers, it's because they don't want anyone who's been through their underwear drawers running around. Telling tales. Whatever poor fucker they pin multiple homicides on is obviously not anyone important. I don't think he was framed. Not by his own people. Nah, pinned as in... stuck with. Like a chore. Powerful people. Mob or no. If they get lawyers, it's for tax evasion and conspiracy charges. Dirty work's left to the pawns. And the whole point of a pawn is... you don't have to think twice about trading them off. Alright. Guess I know the rumors are true then. Haha, yep, you uncovered my cool fucking secret. Listen. Actors, singers, celebs, they all like expensive things and being the center of attention. Mobsters have money to burn and want the cologne of legitimacy. Everyone wants what they can't have. Okay, chill, F. Scott Fitzgerald.
My favorite lines.
Great looking Gatsby ass. I still pine for thee, motherfucker. What? All I'm saying is there's mutually beneficial arrangements to be made. Between the rich and famous, and the rich and infamous. So you bet your ass I was in those rooms, negotiating appearance fees, and taking my 30%. 30%? You really are shameless. That's what she said. Alright. Thanks as always for the sage counsel. Hey, if you're really feeling grateful, do me a solid and call your rinse. They say they never hear from you. And I know you can't be that busy. If you're bored enough to talk to me. They're the ones who are busy. Victoria Masters. I feel like I give her just a tiny bit too much of like a goblin-y voice, but maybe it fits anyway.
No, you gave her just enough goblin-y voice. She is a goblin.
Like, it's definitely the right vibe for how she texts. July 7th.
I imagine she'd manage to speak like that too.
Yeah. Weight depends on the time of day. Question mark, question mark, question mark? Occupation lawyer to the rich and famous, semi-retired. Likes waterfalls, manicures, macadamia nuts. Dislikes getting ghosted by my adorable goddaughter. Drink cosmopolitan double. Collects favors, friends in high places. Luck, SSR on the first pull.
It's just like me, for real.
Okay.
Be right back. I'm gonna heat up a plate of nachos. There shouldn't be a character I play in the meantime.
Okay. (5:04 p.m.) 20 more minutes. D003. Obviously, I wasn't sure what would happen after I left that crime scene. And I wasn't sure what I'd find walking in here to speak to my client. Detainment. But I definitely wouldn't have bet that the next time I saw this man alive, he'd actually look worse.
Didn't realize they'd go in that fast.
Did you not hear me? I said I'm your lawyer.
One half second, I'm sorry.
No worries. I don't think there's anything else for us to poke around at.
Okay, perfect. I've got a scene for them to cool off.
Say what?
I said perfect. I've got a scene for these to cool off.
Well, there you go.
Can we
Oh,
force
I
them
heard
this
you.
guy?
I'm just... I'm just not interested in wasting my breath responding.
I'm sorry, is there a misunderstanding here?
Not at all. I understand exactly what you are. You and all your fellow... Your companion is staring at me very intently.
Sarah, blink. You're embarrassing me in front of the Yakuza.
That's a very dated word.
You'd really prefer I call you an orca?
I prefer you give up and leave.
What are you talking?
I'm sure they told you I'd been softened up. they'd broken me, and I'd be ready to sign whatever you put in front of me. Sorry to disappoint you. But the Hound of Ikaria doesn't heal.
Cool. Sosuke, I'm going to repeat myself plainly. And slowly, because you clearly have multiple head injuries. I am not a lawyer, I am your lawyer.
Ah. Right, then. Very good. Thank you for coming. I apologize if I misspoke just now.
I'd misspeak too if I'd lost as much blood as you. Morgan, Esquire. I'll be representing you from here on out.
And Sosuke, your titties. Not as obvious when his arms aren't folded, but I saw some cleave.
Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of cleave there.
Sosuke of House Ikaria.
Sarah, paralegal and bartender.
Very young to have 2 jobs, or tend bar.
Well, it is only part-time.
Ah, right.
So tell us, Sosuke of House Ikaria, what is your routine? You look very fit. Well, he's surprisingly pouty here also. Maybe it's a lip wound. But
What?
no, it looks much more normal here. He was just pouty. He was just pouty for some reason.
Are you asking about you not having me on file? Sorry, which firm are you from? DDD MPM?
I'm in private practice.
You mean you're not?
A mob lawyer? But please don't hold it against me. Everyone has to start the path to corruption somewhere.
There are serious risks involved in representing a man from my background against charges like these.
It's very sweet of you to...
They say I killed a cop, miss. I realize I may look in a sorry state at the moment, but I've not fallen so low that I'd sully the house's name by dragging a civilian into it.
Makoto thought differently.
Young master? You've seen him? How is he? Where is he? Is he unharmed?
He was sitting pretty atop a literal throne surrounded by armed guards last time I checked.
Thank you for that. No one's told me anything, and if the young master has spoken on this matter, I won't go against his judgment. But I do hope you understand what you're getting into.
I'm already in it, Sosuke. How well I understand... What?
I said Sosuke Bosuke, sorry.
How well I understand what I'm in is something I think you'd be able to help with.
Very well. What do you want to know?
So far, all I know about you is your first and last name.
It's a very important last name. But I take your meaning. And in truth, the first thing you should know is that I'm not worthy of it.
Why? You disqualified due to pre-existing conditions?
I was born Sosuke Hayakawa, fourth son of a distant branch family. The only reason I bear the name of Ikaria is because I was adopted into the main house as an infant. In exchange for lifelong service to the main family.
Sounds like a great deal. Lifelong?
That's pouting.
How did you serve the Ikaria as an infant? There are various tax benefits if you have exactly 2 children.
Don't be absurd. I am what you would call a bodyguard. From the time I was able to walk, I was trained to be of service to the house by protecting the heir with my life.
From the time you were able to walk? There are a lot of demand for toddler bodyguards.
All that's ever been asked of me is that I stand in the right place at the right time.
You mean like in family photographs?
Like in front of a blade. Even a child can manage that. The house has given me everything I've ever had and taught me everything I've ever known. What meager service I can offer in return means nothing compared to the debt I owe them.
You view your relationship with your family as a transaction?
It's not something so cold, girl. It is a matter of loyalty. I'm kind of weirded out because I just saw a steam friend of mine crack open of the devil.
Well, it is Morgan Monday.
Ooh.
Right. So if you were standing before a judge and they asked your name and occupation, you would say, "My name is Sosuke Ikaria, and I'm an eternal servant for a living."
I would say my name is Sosuke Ikaria, and I work as the head of personal security for the Ikaria Financial Group.
And what does that entail exactly?
I'm Young Master's bodyguard, and I lead all his security teams.
Nice to properly meet you.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
And I'm Sarah, paralegal and bartender, part-time.
Yes, I believe you already mentioned that.
It seems like we are all doing it twice.
Thank you for your paralegal services, Sarah. That genuine smile!
She's so sweet. And here I had the impression you had no sense of humor.
What do you mean?
It seems in this particular instance, Adonai, it was you who misidentified his proper manners as being Glad we've all broken the ice. Go ahead and peek that profile real quick. August 23rd. Head of Personal Security Ikaria Group, likes whetstones, paperbacks, matcha. Dislikes the opera, wasabi, and insects. Favorite author, Alexandre Dumas. Coffee, cafe americano. Default status, non-work related messages will be blocked. Makoto told me that this all started because you were taken captive yesterday. What happened?
It was 2 p.m. The young master had just finished a meeting with a VIP in Crane Tower, floor 108.
2 p.m.? He wasn't in school?
I'll ask that you refrain from mocking the young master in my presence. He is a child. Anyone can see that. But you've no idea the pressures that have been placed on him.
Whatever my client wants.
As I was saying, it was just after 2 p.m. Me and the rest of my team escorted him to the elevators along our planned exit route. But our lift stopped suddenly in between floors 61 and 62. That was when I made a mistake. I had a bad feeling. Thought it best to get Makoto to the ground floor ASAP. So I forced the elevator open, crawled out, and pulled him out after me. But just as he got out, the elevator started up again, separating us from the rest of the guard.
It was a trap. A 50-50 one. Staying wasn't safe either. If they could stop the elevator, it's not a stretch to think they could drop it too. He just lost the coin flip when he decided to exit.
Yes, Sarah, it was a trap. Floors 60 through 70 were undergoing heavy retrofitting. The other elevators weren't responding, comms were jammed. It reviewed the entire building's blueprints beforehand. Not very useful information, obviously, for a floor undergoing renovations. But I knew there was a construction elevator we could get to, on the other side of the tower. I had to act fast. There was no time to doubt myself, and I did something unforgivable.
You left the kid?
I picked him up over my shoulder.
Oh, well, that sounds like fun.
Please forgive me. Everything the young master does for the sake of his name's dignity, and I
Kids are tougher than you think. I think he'll get over it.
Sarah's out here saying, like, could you put me over your shoulder? Give me a ride.
Abuse is one of the most noble things you can do to someone. So, you escorted him to the service elevator. I take it that's when things...
Yes. I'm sorry, but I only remember a few vague details about what happened next. But I'll tell you what little I can. After I activated the lift, two assailants emerged from under a tarped doorway at my 7 o'clock. One tall, one thin.
I think you can be both of those at once.
Paul was around 190 centimeters, and his weight, I'd say 100 kilograms with the mods.
I'll be the judge of that.
I won. Thin was maybe 175 centimeters, but slouched. Modded as well. But when I saw, what I saw looked stripped down, so he couldn't have been heavier than 7 kilo.
Must be true this time.
He had needle guns, slow to fire, but slow to take effect. A memorable choice. Taller one shot first, jerked his arm when he pulled the trigger. A bad habit usually favored by street slinger punks who are used to compensating for the kickback of jailbroken zippers. He might as well have been aiming at the ceiling. Thin lines up his shot properly, laser sight dialed in on the young master's left trapezoid. I shift into a horse rider stance and deflect the needle with my weapon. The lift doors open behind me just as another shooter steps forward at my 3 o'clock. Or so I thought, but all they had was a laser pointer. Literally a cheap trick. But it worked. I hear a click from 8 o'clock, turn my neck, and feel a weight punch into my deltoid. A dullish kind of pain for an instant. I realize I'm already going numb. And that's when I squeeze.
Squeeze? He's talking about his mods.
That's how I've always described it. Others say they flex or pull or hold. I squeeze. Key to Type 2 external thoracic booster. Some burst strength and pain-killing capabilities, but in short, it's a reflex enhancer. Make 1 second feel like 15, in hindsight. And makes it feel like you ran a marathon during those 15 seconds once the kickback gets you. But I digress. I moved. Got Makoto into the elevator and wrenched the doors shut myself, taking 3 more needles to the back in the process. I remember saliva pooling on my lip and then cold concrete scratching my cheek.
Alright, Sosuke. So you were guarding Makoto, these men laid a trap, targeted him with tranks, failed. Then they take you instead?
Yes, to my great shame.
You were outnumbered and ambushed, but you still managed to protect Makoto. What's there to be ashamed of?
That I didn't see it coming.
You're saying this has happened before?
Dozens of attempts in the past year. Some headed off in the early stages, some sidestepped entirely, and some stopped with force. I knew their tactics, and I knew our vulnerabilities. Ow, dude, don't do that. Ow! And I still failed.
This is a pose that really, makes him look kind of busty.
Oh my god.
Sasuke, that is not incorrect. Adane. Am I wrong? Shouldn't a bodyguard get at least 1 shot off before being taken down?
Shot? What do you mean shot?
You were not carrying a firearm?
No, no one on the team had guns.
How's that?
None of us on the security team had firearms with us.
But you're a gangster.
I'm a head of personal security for the Ikaria Financial Group. Walking onto an allied group's property armed to the teeth insults their hospitality and makes the house look insecure, or worse, impotent.
And I'm not a security expert, but I do think there's some gray area between armed to the teeth and empty-handed. I mean, didn't you just say you deflected their attack?
I was not defenseless just because I wasn't carrying a gun.
Oh?
I had my sword.
So lame. So cool. You walk around town with what, a samurai sword?
You just assume that it's a katana?
Is it?
Yes. It is a signifier of my position within the house and shows that I am acting as a representative of it.
Is it ceremonial then?
No, it is quite sharp.
I can attest to that.
Oh, it's probably in terrible condition by now, seeing as how the city's policemen handle everything else they touch.
Speaking of which, perhaps we should move on to the night's main events? They tried for Makoto, got you instead, and took you to the lower wards. Why? I've been wondering that myself. Aren't you essentially worthless? As a hostage, she means.
You know that. Back, I was surprised myself to wake up at all, let alone in captivity. But it seems they had questions they wanted to ask me.
What do you remember?
Whatever they used on me, I can remember some things, but how much of it was real, what order it happened in, it's all...
Just say whatever comes to mind. It can be anything. Sights, smells, voices. There are no wrong answers.
I was bound, my wrists bound above my head. Tied to something that smelled like iron and rattled like old iron. Piles beneath my feet, some kind of bathroom or decontamination area.
Good guess.
They asked me questions. I said things. Loose lips, like being drunk for the first time again. But I'm not confident that other than vulgarities, it was all incoherent. Because there were shocks, the taste of blood. I must have bit my tongue during the spasms. And there were beatings, of course.
I wouldn't have guessed. Atanai, do you need corrective lenses? Sarcasm is just how I grieve a lost opportunity, Sarah.
Lost opportunity?
Yeah, it's a damn shame. From what I can see of it, a pretty face like yours would go a long way with the jury if it wasn't pulverized.
Ridiculous.
We really do gotta get this guy on estrogen. Is he blushing?
I think he might be on estrogen.
Yeah. I agree about his face, Atanai, but I don't believe it is his only strong feat.
Let us move on.
Really? Well, in that case, how did your captivity end? Do you recall escaping?
I was blindfolded the entire time, but my ears weren't boxed so bad. There was a door that squeaked and whined, so I always knew when someone was coming or going. One voice asked questions. Mostly. It was light. Another voice grunted when he hit me. Heavy. Other voices came and went, and then eventually... there was talk. Through the door, I heard... they were all talking to someone else.
A new voice. Was it high-pitched or low? Loud or soft? It doesn't matter. What's important is that it belonged to someone new. Someone besides you and the dead who was there last night. Someone besides you and the dead who was there last night. Did you make out any part of their conversation?
No, not a word. But there was a loud noise. Gunshots followed by shouting and ugly sounds.
And then?
A hollow pain in my skull as I lost consciousness again. When I next came to, I had something in my hand. My hands. Something sharp. I didn't even think to ask what it was or where it came from. I just started working at the bindings, rushed and clumsy, poked myself in the process. But I cut them loose and took the gag out. The blindfold was so tight that I cut it rather than try, and the damn thing must have been acting as a bandage, because when I took it off, between the light and the pain, I thought my head had split open. It took me a long time to stand up. Felt like I could just lie on that cold, disgusting floor forever if I just... But something was poking me. Something tucked into my waistband.
The gun.
A gun. Imagine my surprise. Checked the safety, the chamber, flexibly, but only saw 2 spent slugs. I was too tired to be confused, so I just walked out that squeaky door and into red. Just red. And then I was blinking at an IV, handcuffed to a stretcher in an ambulance, some cop reading me my rights, saying that I killed 5 people. No, wait, some judge or official said that later. When I woke up in the ambulance, all they said was that I was a cop killer. Emitting some strong language.
I don't understand. You were held captive, interrogated, tortured. But then you woke up armed and were able to escape.
The cops didn't ask me questions, and I wouldn't have answered if they had. It's been nearly a full day, and I'm just now saying it aloud for the first time. It truly sounds absurd.
This is your world, Sosuke, not mine. Do you have any theories on what happened?
Only 2 possibilities come to mind. In the first scenario, 1 or more of my captors wanted to kill me but needed an excuse to do so. So they let me escape. They give me a knife and an unloaded gun, then wait for me to stumble out so they can mist me and be done with it. But the plan doesn't work. Somehow I limp out of that room, shoot, cut, stab, kill them all.
That would be quite the feat, given the condition you say you were in.
Yes, a tale for the ages.
But it's not possible. Why isn't it possible? Even if he had the motive, and they were stupid enough to give him the opportunity, he was still lacking. In the brief I read, 2 of the pod were shot to death. I'm sure you're highly qualified, Sosuke, but I doubt you can fire a gun without bullets.
No, I cannot. As I said, the gun I woke up with had already fired both its shots.
So, if we tell the police that the gun wasn't loaded, would that clear Sosuke's name for 2 of the murders? There's no proof that the gun was already empty by the time he got his hands on it.
She's right. That gun was some kind of jailbroken mag rail. The only residue it would leave behind is static. As long as my prints are on it, that's all the evidence they need to claim I fired it.
How about that second possibility, then?
Well, the second possibility is that someone walked into that building, killed my captors, and then tried to frame me for it.
That...
Sounds like lunacy?
We've already eliminated... We've already eliminated the other possibility. Insane trumps impossible. Like it or not, this Bad Samaritan theory is our best shot. What is it?
I'm just surprised you believe me. You haven't even asked if I did it.
I never ask. It helps that I can usually tell.
Wise policy for the world you're setting foot into. Not as if it makes any difference here. Even I don't know if I'm guilty.
You were drugged and beaten. You're still injured even now. And we just reasoned that you couldn't have killed your captors without help. What makes you think you might still be guilty?
As I've killed before.
A pale spark flickers at the back of my mind. My index finger rises slightly, my lips part. Was I expecting this, stepping into the criminal underworld? Looking forward to it? The rare opportunity to speak frankly with someone else who's... You mean...
Yes. I was in the military.
Even worse. Okay.
Taken lives. Many lives.
That doesn't make you a murderer. Soldiers are given orders. Rare.
I killed people. Whether or not a superior asked me to doesn't change that fact.
Rare Sarah L. But soldiers... Are you a soldier, Sarah? No. So drop it.
He's good at following orders. It can take years to acquire that skill.
I imagine it comes easy for androids.
Yes, I suppose that's... Wait, that's an android?
Did you miss the glowing barcode? And ignore my self-introduction?
Look, I'm tired. I thought those were highlights or something.
Did my hair catch your eye? You have discerning taste. You see, each strand is actually... Was there something you wanted to say, Sosuke?
I've taken lives before, and so I know how I feel afterwards. Thin.
And how do you feel right now?
Right now, I feel...
What is it? You remember something?
Yes. After I stepped at that door, I said I saw red. But I do remember one other sensation. I remember the feeling of gripping my sword. That brief you read, it listed all the charges, all the causes of death. The fifth man, the Kappa they say I killed. How did he die?
Stabbed through the back with a sword. Skewered like a piece of goddamn meat. And you've got the balls to ask us to carry him to a hospital? I don't think that's quite how I phrased the request. I've been paying close attention. Would you like me to play back what you said? Not right now, Sparky. Reyes, she's just doing her job. It's not like she's asking... Oh, save the lecture, gray hair. Gray... Come on, my hair is...
There's a couple gray strands.
It's graying, maybe. In case I haven't made it clear, I've never liked you, Morgan. Oh, you're breaking my... I hadn't noticed. But I never took you for a mob lawyer. Whatever my client's associations might be, he's a cop killer. Innocent until proven guilty isn't a phrase I coined myself, detective. It's actually somewhat important. Oh, don't worry about that. The proving won't take us long at all. Do you always take pride in rushing your investigations? We've all seen the same intake file by now, yes? My client was in bad shape when he was arrested, but his wounds were treated in a medical transport. Yet somehow, in between arriving at the station and his booking, all his wounds were reopened, and some of them had multiplied. Tell me if you can, great detective. How will we ever solve the mystery of the reappearing fractured skull? Your client was being moved between floors. He struggled trying to escape. And then he fell down the stairs, really? Was there a lawnmower waiting at the bottom? Look, we're all adults here. So let's just say it, your coworkers kicked the shit out of him. Well, what do you want me to do about it? I want you to uphold the law. For some reason, I thought you cared about that. A police badge isn't a time machine. By the time we took custody, he was already... She's right, Tiger. What's done is done. You know you've got a snowball's chance in hell of proving your client was assaulted while in police custody. And you'll never get charges brought against the officers who did it. So try asking for something doable. Don't go giving away all my best tricks. The door-in-the-face tactic is already fragile. I want him to see a doctor. You've got to be shitting me. That's a blooded KW in there with military-grade mods. He's not leaving this building. But we could have a doctor brought here. And give him the chance to take a hostage? He's not the 99 man, Reyes. He can't break his cuffs. Don't say 99 man. You don't know what it means. You're too old. How about a medic who can't be taken hostage? A medical ad? Sure, great. Let's see if we can't negotiate his premium lower while we're at it. Is that a refusal, Detective Reyes? Oh, I didn't say no, did I? Great. He also needs a protective detail. Lady, I swear to... Counselor. Protective details are comprised of off-duty cops. I don't think that'll have the outcome you're looking for. No. But if my client is left unattended one more night, he's likely to be declared unfit to stand trial. When he shows up to court with his head caved in. An outcome I genuinely believe you're not looking for either. We could keep him here. What, in the interrogation room? Counseling quarter. Table can't be moved, but if you slide the chairs out of the way, the floor's not actually that hard. How do you even know that? Given what other lodgings he's had in the last 24 hours, I don't think your client will mind. So if Detective Reyes and Detective London take shifts keeping watch... Now we're keeping watch? It is the Homicide Department's counseling quarter. You think I'd give a shit what happens to that son of a bitch? You think I wouldn't walk in there myself and... You wouldn't. What? It's not in your nature. What the hell is that supposed to mean? You either have it or you don't. Trust me, if I had the chance to take a swing at that son of a bitch... Yeah, you already called him that. A piece of shit, a bastard, a killer. But unlike every other cop I walked past to get in here, you've yet to call Sosuke an animal. So what? What the hell does that matter? It's the only thing that matters. I've got the outsider's perspective, so I know. Your average human can do anything to anyone, so long as they're not a person. Whatever. Think what you want, creep.
What she says, you don't have... That's not in your nature. What you assume she means. Oh, you got a heart of gold for a cop. What she actually means. You've never drawn blood in your life, you little pussy.
For real. Well, as long as that's your only request, we should be able to... I need to get into the crime scene as soon as possible. You've got to be... What, like tonight? She's not rushing more than anyone else, Sunshine. Everyone up the line has been raring to go on this. Now that Sosuke's actually got a lawyer... Well, maybe if that son of a bitch hadn't clammed up all day, we wouldn't... She said it again. Whatever, pick then, counselor. You can bully us into guard duty or escort duty, but we can't do both. I need both. You'll have to split up. But I can help with that. Or rather, Sarah can. I can. Of course you can. You can go treat Sasuke. Adonai, I am not trained in... Oh, I love this bitch. She's pretending she doesn't remember being registered as my medical ad. Yes, I would never forget that unforgettable experience. But I've never done first aid before. Well, watch a tutorial first. Use lots of sanitizer. Just hand her some bandages and she'll get Sasuke looking good as new in no time. Then you can plop her in front of the door and even 20 crooked cops working together couldn't get her to budge. That much is certainly accurate. I have strong core, so if I focus and lower my center of gravity... Thanks for the sales pitch, but it doesn't mean shit. The crime scene is in the lower wards. If you think after what happened last night that any cop with a pulse would go down there without their partner... It's okay, sunshine. I'll take her down there. Is everyone else in here huffing Nirvana? London, it's in Blue Blood territory. Blue Blood territory, outskirts, really. They lost a whole pod, they'll be swarming the place. You can't go down there without backup. Backup, huh? You know Mac from Contraband? Skinny guy? Kind of a perv? Yeah, he's skinny. Look, he's got crime scene analysis sweeps going over that place with a fine comb right about now. Drones, probes, the works. They'll have eyes on us before we get within 5 minutes of the place. Whatever. Just keep in contact for once. I hope you're being generously compensated, Eve. Selling your soul to the mob. It'd be a shame if you didn't at least get a good price. Hey, you coming, Blinkers? Gotta find where they store all the medkits in this dusty old piece of... Go on. I'll be right behind you, detective. Sorry about that. She's still new to all this, really. Not old like me. She does seem to be on edge, more so than usual. It's her first time losing a fellow officer. I think she's taking it pretty hard. Maybe even personally? Did they know each other? Ah, right. You gather up all your things. I'll go bring us up a ride. Great. Thanks for all the help, Detective. You're a lifesaver. Though this is one occasion where I wouldn't have had any trouble finding the place.
So, I have to say, now that we have enough information, the prologue case is defending the world's most pathetic man from the charge of claiming he killed his girlfriend. The second case is defending your new assistant from the charge of claiming that she killed family. The third case is defending a kind of pathetic samurai from being framed for a murder. It's interesting, isn't it?
Uh-huh. I had to think about it for a minute. I don't have... I've seen through...
Yeah, that's the first 3 Phoenix Wright cases, in broad strokes. Which does mean that the next case in line, if they keep going this direction, is the one where Edgeworth was framed for murder.
Oh, can't wait to see what the parrot analog is. Really didn't take you that long to patch him up, huh? Now we just wait here. All night. That clock runs pretty slow. If you're not doing anything else, Detective, might you be interested in answering some questions? Well, I guess that means if we,
Three sizes.
I guess if we hit the, if we hit a good scene break just like 5-10 minutes before stopping time, I guess we know. Oh, no, I don't think hers is available. I need to, like, find some time to get a better score in episode 0. And unlock the rest of those.
I forget if there's examples of like, revisited interviews. Unsure.
Don't know. Once more into the depths. When I went down to the lower wards last night, I knew what I wanted to find, but I wasn't sure where to look. Now I know where to look, but I have multiple priorities to consider. It'd be nice if I can prove Sosuke's innocence. It won't be easy, given that they think he killed a cop. But it'd keep me on the Ikaria's good side. That'd be nice. But what is essential is that I figure out what the hell happened after I left, and whether anyone found any trace that I was ever there. Everything else is second. Sorry. Guess I should have asked before I decided we'd be sharing a cab. I don't mind. But I am surprised. Did budget cuts take away your shiny patrol car? Patrol cars are shared, counselor. Any cop can step into any other cop's car, sync their credentials, and drive. Convenient. Shame you can't personalize. Yeah, no more dice in the mirror. Is that why we're in a cab, then? Personal taste? Police cars are full of bugs. Thought you might appreciate the privacy. Autocabs are full of bugs, too. True, but there are ways around them. Are there? I didn't know that. Yeah, plenty. Can be as easy as flashing a police badge. Something you wanted to discuss in private, Detective? I was asked to get in contact with you and pass along a message. A secret admirer? Certain interested parties and all that. You know how it is. I'm not sure I do. Does this have something to do with my client's business affiliations? There would be a lot more blustering if I were to repeat it verbatim, so I'll paraphrase. Focus on getting the best outcome for your client. More of a reminder of what my job description is than a warning. And don't broaden the scope of your investigation any more than strictly necessary. Well, I always appreciate kind words of advice. But Detective London, that almost makes it sound like you're on the take. That's this city, Tiger. If you don't take it a little, they'll bury you. Alive, if need be. Oh, they will? How conspiratorial. It's not a joke, Morgan. Do they threaten your wife with Tommy guns if you don't comply? It's gotten more sophisticated than that. Well, maybe sophisticated isn't the right word. Complicated might be more accurate. Or you could just call it a quagmire. Or even a shitstorm. If you can't get along to go along, even other cops won't trust you. You'll end up shot in the back, friendly fire. A tragic newspaper clipping. You're exaggerating. You're telling me the entire police force is corrupt? Corruption would be one thing. You could, in theory, root it out. But above and below the canopy, it's all intertwined. Every tree stabilizing every other tree. What do they call that? Not parasitism. Commensalism. There you go. The state pays criminal informants to rat on their peers and lets them keep their positions in exchange. Orcas buy judges and politicians to keep their men out of prison. Status quo. Balancing act. A cycle. Stable as any gyroscope. Forgive me if I find that hard to believe. Crime is at an all-time low. That's not a contradiction. People hate crime. But what gets people killed is chaos. And the opposite of organized crime is... So everyone's playing nice with each other? Even Detective Reyes? She's... What about the man they think my client killed? Did he play nice? He was a special case. You got the brief. You recognize his last name? It's a big city. I don't put too much stock into last names. You'll need to break that habit if you continue to work in the underworld. Sosuke said something similar. Tariq Chopin, only son of Miguel and Dominique Chopin.
Good old Chopin. Another crime of the French.
Yeah. It came up last week. I do feel like the guy, the historical real life guy, the main one, the composer, people always say Chopin. But I guess he's not even French.
I just know him as an anime boy who has magical adventures happen on his deathbed and is composed by Motoi Sakuraba.
That sounds like something that would happen.
The game Eternal Sonata by the Tales of devs.
Interesting. I think I have heard of that.
It might be the Star Ocean devs. I'm not sure. There's crossover.
August 9th, which is, I think, today in game, maybe? But I don't remember for sure. We'll see soon enough. Patrol officer likes 24/7 news, calligraphy, late dinners. Dislikes gray hairs, untucked shirts, mint. Education, Bachelor of Science in Applied Philosophy. Awarded, Senatorial Commendation of Bravery, posthumous. Survived by Fathers Miguel and Dominic Chopin, City Councilman.
What kind of literal psychopath do you have to be to list 24/7 news in your likes at all, let alone the first one?
It feels like such a cop interest to have.
Yeah, probably. Like I said, what kind of psychopath do you have to be?
Asked and answered. I guess we'll look at these two while we're here. May 5th. Homicide Detective First Class likes duct tape, mascara, oak.
Oh, that is mascara.
Dislikes parking lots, ties, honeydew. The best at finding new restaurants. Commendations, none displayed at his workstation. Wardrobe more expensive than it looks. Yeah, that sounds right. One of those, like, steal his look memes where every piece is, like, hundreds of dollars, like, designer piece.
Yeah.
Farrah Reyes. October 19th. Homicide Detective Third Class likes sneakers, volcanoes, the Paralympics. Dislikes scalpers, hoarders, anise. Favorite TV? Civil engineering documentaries. Shampoo? Dunno. Conditioner's more important. Undefeated at volleyball. Maybe there is hope for her. Oh, we've got a few things. Oh, evidence, yes. Sosuke was apprehended at the scene of the crime, placed in medical transport. Blood from various sources across the anterior front of the body listed as an injury. I don't think the blood itself is the injury. Unless they mean various places had blood coming from them, but then I feel like you would be more specific. Like, are they cuts? Are they, like, scabs or scrapes?
That could be a form of passive voice in a police report.
Numerous bones in left hand broken. Slight laceration found on that hand as well. Internal bleeding throughout torso and skull.
Internal bleeding? Yeah, I'd hope so.
Bruising and rope burns on both wrists. Numerous bruises on front of the body. Others blood across the tops of feet and pants legs. Must have really been swimming in it. Largest wound found on the crown of the skull, back of the head near the top. Time of booking, numerous additional injuries were noted. Bruise to left eye, busted lip, broken nose, box to left ear, blunt trauma to anterior right, front right of the head, yes. Where or when these additional injuries were sustained is not noted. "99 Man" refers to a theoretical state of being in which a human has replaced as much of their body with cybernetic equivalents as possible, thereby becoming someone who is 99% machine and yet technically still a man. Still a human. The term first appeared in the speculative fiction short story Carved Out of Marble by M.P. Smith, but it rose to prominence after the 2072 Paralympics when middleweight track and field gold medalist Ayid Saffron quoted the story as inspiration after breaking the world record at the time for the 800 meters. Since then, the phrase has been popularized as both a meme and a thought experiment, opening up discussions about transhumanism in sports, the business world, education, and beyond. Some social media influencers, athletes, or tech evangelists have taken the 99 Man as a challenge, modding themselves as much as possible with the explicit goal of approaching what they see as the current limit for transhumanism. Officially, the individual who has had the greatest percentage of their body mass replaced with artificial analogs is an anonymous male adult living in the Eastern Hemisphere who was suffering from a rare and terminal form of bone cancer before signing up for an experimental surgery offered through How Industries' Theseus initiative. How officially describes the patient as currently living a normal and productive life, though Theseus has never produced any consumer market products and has not published any additional research papers in the last 2 years, leading some to question whether the results are at all replicable. Anyway. Also, yeah, I didn't completely process it here, but I caught it in the profile, like, this guy had gay dads. Too bad he was a cop. The power couple? Why would the son of two of our city's most prominent council members be working as a police officer? You want the full story? Always. So who was this Chopin, really? An idealist. Wrong line of work, then. You're only half right. When he entered the academy, everyone assumed it was a political move. First step in his career to becoming a senator or whatever. Maybe it was, but anyone who met the guy could tell you he would have made a lousy politician. You're saying he was honest? Wouldn't tell a lie if his life depended on it. Guy couldn't do small talk, much less make friends. Talking about cleaning up the city, cleaning up the police, cleaning up everything. If he was so unpopular, why was he kept on? No one on the force wanted to risk insulting his parents by firing him. Just got passed around from department to department, detail to detail. He did a lot of community outreach. Community outreach? What, like bake sales? Like giving talks at schools about saying no to drugs until you turn 21. Oof. Must have really left his job to put up with that. Or he just wanted to prove a point that bad. Don't you try to save lower wards patrols for the more seasoned, better armed officers? We do, yeah. How'd you know that? By going to the lower wards and looking at the cops you send there, of course. I read about it in Watch magazine last month. Well, if Chopin was the son of such powerful men, why'd he end up in the lower wards last night? That... I don't know. You don't know? By all counts, he and his partner should have been at least 2 patrols removed from that area. Must have been following up on some other lead. His partner? Who's that? The hero who finally arrested the Hound of Caria, that's who. I'll have to send him a congratulatory fruit basket. Huey Rogers. Pretty bare bones record, but maybe that'll just add to his legend. What legend? Taking your client alive. Whacked him on the head with his sidearm, knocked him out cold. Guess it is a small miracle that Sosuke wasn't just shot dead if they thought he killed a cop. Maybe, but it wasn't pure luck. Only thing that did stick out to me in Roger's record was his shooting score. 41. Out of 100. You need 40 to pass. I think someone took pity on him when tallying up his score. So he only whacked Sosuke on the head because he was too bad of a shot to avenge his partner? At least Rogers knows his weaknesses. The Hound. I keep hearing that name. The Hound of Icaria. I cringe every time. No one actually calls him that, right? Sorry, but I've definitely heard that name circulating around organized crime before. Must be one hell of a bodyguard to have earned a nickname for it. He's a bodyguard? Then yeah, must be pretty good. Of course, hound dogs are known for other things besides guarding. Sorry, that was, crude. Oh, don't be sorry. I don't even get enough of the joke to be offended. Okay, that all makes for some interesting food for thought. But, Detective London, if you are working for the Blue Bloods... I never said I work for the Blue Bloods. It's more of a gig worker type thing, Tiger. I'm friends with everybody. If you are working for the mob in general, then how do I know you're even taking me to the right place and not to... Whoa. I may pass a message along here and there, but I'm not... Damn. Hell, no one else is either. Whatever you're imagining, it's not that exciting, I promise. Not that exciting. Sounds about right. Is it like this in every city?
Morgan desperately hoping that a cop will try to do a funny murder because she thinks it would be awesome, and then she'll kill him.
Not the only cop getting killed tonight. Handshakes and gentlemen's agreements behind closed doors. You disillusioned? The state has a great deal of power, Detective London, and makes countless rules. Now, I'm a big girl. I know that those rules don't apply to people equally. And I understand the value of criminal informants and the possible conflicts of interest that arise in trying to keep them around. What I don't get is why the state has all this strength, and it won't use it to just wipe the underworld off the map. That's pretty cold logic. I'd expect my state to be far colder. Hey, you ever heard this one? A politician, a CEO, and a mob boss are sitting at a round table with a gun in the middle. Who are you betting on? I feel like the joke is going to be that they're the same person. CEO looks at a loaded gun and sees the bullets in the clip as inventory that needs moving. Plus, they're used to taking a job and setting up their golden parachute before anything else. I doubt they'd walk into that room without first planning how they're getting out of it. Fair enough. CEOs only get the job in the first place by convincing their board they can navigate high stakes. But it's a trick question, of course. Rock, paper, scissors is no trump card. The politician can bring the heavy arm of the law down onto the mob boss if he doesn't shoot the CEO for him. The mob boss can have the CEO's family killed if he doesn't blow away the politician first. And the CEO can turbocharge the campaign of whomever the politician's opponent is if he refuses to miss the mob boss. Yeah, seems like you could make the argument to go in the other direction, too. You could. So the point the riddle's meant to teach is this. Whoever convinces someone else to pull the trigger comes out on top. Funny. So in the parable you set up, the gun on the table, that's the police? A blameless tool with no will of its own?
That smile. That Morgan smile.
That's where it all began, that damned smile. Yeah. Thought it was older men than... Though it was older men than I who set it up. Didn't realize this country's police were so powerless. However do you manage? We used to have a partner that helped us out. A tiebreaker. Because all three of those powerful men would be screwed if a journalist told the world they were meeting together. I've got good news for you, Detective. Journalists still exist. I can introduce you to one. You could even take a photograph. Oh, I know they're not extinct. People will always write. It's just that no one wants to pay them to. Sorry. Didn't mean to talk so much. Maybe it's nerves coming back down here. What happened the last time he visited? Something up? Didn't put you to sleep, did I? No. Actually, your 3-seat table reminded me of an even older thought experiment. If God is omnipotent, then why does he allow the existence of the devil? Even I know that one. To preserve free will or whatever, right? Yeah, that's the answer most people give.
Name of the game dropped off the devil.
That's true. But now I'm wondering if it isn't a rock-paper-scissors deadlock like the one you just described. God lets the devil be, so he'll terrify man, and man will always need God's warm protection. And God needs man's faith, which can't be compelled. Of course, most people would also say that God's long dead in the 21st century, but we're still around. So that leaves the devil in an awfully strong position, doesn't it? You always picture 3 men in that room, don't you? Huh? Yeah, I guess I do. Sorry.
War, women, corrupt, murderers.
Do 55 feminist rosaries for your penance. Really good.
Sitting up straight.
To me, Detective, that long-dead god is a woman. And it's not anti-feminist that she got... What?
Do you believe it? Can you believe it?
And it's not anti-feminist for her to be fridged, because the devil is also a woman. Lower wards. Right back at this place. Or these places, I suppose. Detective London. We're definitely not alone down here. But when you reassured your partner that we'd have company, I didn't think you were including Blue Bloods. Ah. You know, I knew I'd forgotten to mention. Whoa.
What? Well, then she's a liar, babe.
I've seen her.
I
I've
bet.
seen her too, maybe in my dreams.
Hold on, let me take another pass at this voice, something more appropriate. I never said that. No, I never said that. Oh, come on, babe. That's what she's like. She likes for fun. That's what I call you, babe. It's a pet name. You like it. Oh, don't hang up. Don't hang up, baby. Don't hang up. Of course I do.
We gotta get to work, Han.
I'll have to call you back, babe. Something just came up.
London, what is this?
London, who is this?
Counselor Morgan, this is Adelaide Hahn. Adelaide? She's, well, she's a blue blood.
Hey, I'm a perfectly legitimate career woman. You're speaking to a Scientist Security Site Manager. If you need anything, miss, please don't hesitate to reach out.
That's evidence. Adelaide Hahn's business card listing her as a site manager at Scientist Security, a known front for the Blue Blood criminal organization. Includes her personal contact number on top of her work details for some reason, with a little heart. Oh, I like her already. A real business card. It even has a watermark. I'm not familiar with Cyanus. Cyanus?
We're a private security and investigation firm. We provide bouncers, armed escorts. We catch cheating partners, find runaway debtors, run paternity tests, that kind of stuff. Sorry, but have we met somewhere before? No, it can't be. I'd never forget a beauty like you.
Oh my god. She's the Hound's lawyer, Han.
Seriously? She works for those copperhead scumbags? So we're mortal enemies? That sucks. Another life then, eh? But I'll still play nice, if you will.
Right. So you're private security and you're currently securing this crime scene?
Yeah? What's with the tone?
What you're hearing is genuine bewilderment. London, why are the police letting blue bloods contaminate the crime scene where a cop died?
Come on, we don't have cooties.
If this wasn't the location where a cop died, we'd have already turned full control over to them. What? The police contract out the security around crime scenes to private companies all the time. And around here, the private company best suited for the job happens to be Cyanus. Letting them conduct their own side investigations is a small concession to keep the peace. A small concession? They're probably in there destroying evidence as we speak. We have the arcs to preserve the crime scene. They could burn the building down and we'd still have a pristine copy.
London Bridges is trying to save face. The police couldn't keep this crime scene off limits without our help, and he knows it. Gremlins would be smashing their shiny cameras and popping their expensive tires round the clock if we weren't here. Lower wards kids take out drones by tossing shoes at them for fun.
Is that why you see shoes hanging off of wires?
No, I don't know why that happens.
It's just a thing teens have always done for fun. Mystery solved? Fine, maybe the cops and the blue bloods are all consummate professionals who never even bicker. But what kind of impartiality can I expect coming here to defend an Icaria?
Well, you might get some ugly looks from those with less chivalry, but no one's gonna get in your way. We know how defense attorneys operate. We know damn well how you usually win. No one's gonna do anything that'll let you worm the Hound out of his life sentence on a technicality.
You sure you wouldn't prefer that? To have him back out on the streets so you can take another shot at him?
Oh, so flattery. That's how you flirt.
What does that mean?
The two kinds of lesbians.
You think we'd ever manage to gun down the Hound of Icaria in the street? Stank him in a holding cell?
Blue bloods took him alive just fine the other day, didn't they?
Yeah, and look what happened to them afterwards.
So you won't tamper with a crime scene just because you want to make sure the state lobotomizes Sosuke for quintuple homicide.
Yeah? I mean, we also literally get paid good money to do these kinds of jobs, so we have a reputation to maintain. Rate us 5 stars when you're done looking around, okay?
I'll be sure to leave a glowing review. So this is the main entrance? Front door looks about as heavy as I remember, but it's unlocked. What's that? How was this door found? Chopin and Rogers were the first officers on the scene, responding to gunfire. Someone heard that? Good thing I cleaned up fast. Checked the area, then entered through the front door. The door was definitely locked when I arrived. But I didn't lock it behind me when I left. I didn't have any keys.
Admiring our handiwork? This is a Cyanus installation.
Who else would Blue Bloods trust to secure Blue Blood buildings? How does it lock?
You never used a key before?
I want to know how the lock functions. Does it lock behind you automatically?
That's a good question. You looking to buy? Because I could set you up.
It is a good question, Han. Why don't you answer it?
Yeah, this model locks behind you by default. You need a key to get in if someone doesn't lock it for you from the inside.
A physical key?
Physical keys can't be hacked. Or overridden by a police badge. Some people consider those useful features.
The hyper-advanced technology of the cyberpunk future. Physical locks with physical keys.
No one lockpicks anymore.
It's a dying skill.
And you'd think Morgan would know how, but she's no lockpicking lawyer.
Fuck! Whatever. Is that why the door's ajar? It looks like the lock's been destroyed. Was it found like this? Yeah, for as long as the Arcs has been up. It definitely wasn't locked when me and Reyes arrived, which was around 10:20 p.m. Hang on, you and Reyes, what, were you the second officers on scene? That's right. We weren't far when the 10999 went out at 10:15. A long way from Precinct 254, isn't it? We were in the area.
Awkward.
It strikes me that he was... London was just saying that it was, like, strange to him that Chopin and Rogers were, like, out of their, like, jurisdiction to, like, be here for this.
You want the tour then?
Actually, I'd like to check out the alley first. You know the crime scene's on the 3rd floor, right? Yeah, but it has a window that opens to the alley, doesn't it? I just prefer to start from the bottom and work my way up sometimes.
Sure, we can start there. Careful where you step, if you like those boots at all.
Well. Sinus Security, Private Security LLC, is a trusted partner in your business ventures, offering a suite of private security services, including but not limited to bodyguards, convoys, bouncers, private investigators, paternity tests, family history research, and shipping insurance. Answer a few questions about your needs in our portal below, and we'll get you set up with the peace of mind you've been searching for. Your browser may prompt you with a security pop-up when interacting with some of the features on our site. You can safely disregard these messages as they are related to a legal matter that has already been settled out of court. We apologize for the disruption in your site experience. Ready to get started? Then the sponsored search thing again.
Think Arcs. I don't think it says anything new about it from the last two.
Probably not. I mean, the gist of what's important to remember is that it's like... investigative tool data harvested by sensors when one first responded used to construct a digital copy of a pristine crime scene. Exactly as it lists there, like the cops who first show up with, like, whether they are ads or have mods, get a scan of the scene, quote-unquote, undisturbed. And then they can just pull that back up to reference. Like a 3D photograph or something. Emergency response code utilized in municipal systems around the nation, most frequently to signify that one or more first responders' lives are in danger. Hold on. Most police departments' standard issue suite of biomonitors allow for this code to be sent out across emergency networks automatically when cardiac activity is disrupted or blood pressure changes rapidly. Due to the non-negligible chance that moderate exercise could be misinterpreted by biomonitors, leading to false alarms, Some departments make it a policy to avoid enabling the automatic alert function.
Want to change out the keychain?
It's been a minute. Do you have a particular one in mind?
Let's see. We've seen all of those. Oh, I gotta know about that 80. Is the lesbian in here?
Oh. We did? Hold on. Oh, no, okay, it set me back up to the top. I got confused. I was like, more phone cases? Nope.
Aw.
Maybe we'll unlock more.
The freaking Necomorph.
So haunting. Evidence of the front door. Physical lock and key. Automatically locks behind you when you're leaving. Oh, lock is currently damaged and non-functional. Trey definitely had to unlock it to let me inside. I didn't think to see if it had locked behind me after I left. April 16th. Site manager Sinus Security likes new furniture, silk clothes, dimples. Dislikes clingy types, jealous types, needles. Plays pickup games. Avoids laundry day. Least favorite chore, throwing out dead flowers. Kind of a funny implication that she doesn't even mind laundry day, she just avoids it. Okay.
That she likes dimples so much and thinking about Morgan's face.
Okay, is that only two things? Oh, no.
Lobo Kang.
It was much darker last night than it is now, and I only took a quick peek. But even so, this looks like it's been moved, huh? Yes, was trash picked up last night, perhaps? Checking the model number on the side. Looks like dumpsters of this make haven't been picked up by the city in a decade. I didn't realize there was DRM on trash cans. Hey, it's a heavy model. Tough to lift. Even if its wheels weren't broken. And designed for containing industrial waste? How it ended up here in a residential district is...
Isn't that hard to puzzle out, is it? It was cheaper for the Megs to dump their shit on us than it was to haul it down to a landfill.
Is that why I can see markings on the ground there, from leaks?
Aw, you really are a tourist, aren't you?
I've been in the lower wards before.
But only at night, right? Rain's dirty down here. Stains the ground wherever it falls.
Acid rain, like from the history books? Not quite that bad. Just smog combined with precipitation combined with the charms of the city to make...
Dirty rain, like I said. Lower ward spring water. There's a shot named after it. Tequila and pickle juice. Ugh.
Oof. Both perfectly drinkable on their own. I don't think I would mix them. So is the dumpster empty? Let's see.
Hey, grab a glove if you're gonna...
Yeah, it's mostly empty. Except for a bunch of scrap metal at the bottom. Explains why I can't get it to budge.
Careful. You get your toe trapped under there. Don't look at me to help you just because I'm modded.
Are you saying you couldn't budge it either?
Could if a girl was cheering me on.
Oh, she's the best. Okay, London, thanks. Don't know what I was expecting to find, really.
Now just watch it so you don't... Let the lid slam.
Industrial dumpster found in the alley just next to the crime scene. Incredibly heavy, yet still shows sign of having been moved recently. Lid makes a very unpleasant sound as uncovered by Detective London's thorough investigating. I was looking at it in her profile, but we got a better look then with the little, like, post she did. It's interesting that she has, like, stuff on her arms that kind of looks like it could be bracing, but not very heavy duty. I wonder if that's the mods she was talking about or not. Sorry.
Lobo King.
Globo King. The Beast. This fire escape would lead right up to the crime scene. Assuming it doesn't come crashing down once you step onto it. It's missing the ladder that would connect it to street level. You're violating fire code with this tetanus trap on.
Building inspection's not my department. Besides, who'd want to climb up into a burning building?
Firefighters.
You're funny, Bridges. Even a copper firefighter wouldn't risk getting singed to save a lower ward's property from burning down.
An ad could probably make the jump up there. Ads are heavy. If an android leaped onto that, the whole mess would probably come down on top of them. Yeah, modders are heavy too.
Hey.
Looks like the only way into the building is through the front door then. Rusting poorly maintained, missing the ladder. Derogatory word for... Yeah, we got this one already. Automated dependents, particularly ones licensed by or operating under the authority of the state. She's like a bug. One problem with blue bloods and cops running security. I don't know who to blame for leaving their shit here. I'll give the moral high ground to whichever part of society learns to pick up after themselves first. Bombing ruled out in university fire. Panic abounded last week on campus when the computer labs at North Technica University were set ablaze in the early hours of the morning. Students and faculty skirted the campus in anxious, hunched postures as federal agents descended on the lab's vicinity, searching for signs that could point to a culprit. But as of today, the fire has officially been ruled an accident and successfully traced back to a cooling system failure in the basement's main server hub. A freak accident that has provided simultaneous relief and confusion to the community. When the fire was first reported on, many were quick to point out its similarities to other fires and bombings recently reported as sweeping eastward across the nation. Dubbed by some members of the press as work of the Witch of the West, each incident appears to have targeted data infrastructure, hitting state, corporate, and academic nerve centers and leaving behind significant financial grief in the aftermath. Hundreds of thousands of files related to student debt, all of it non-recoverable, said one anonymous campus security specialist after their university's student register records went up in literal smoke. We're reaching out to alumni as quickly as we can to try and piece their records back together, but frankly a lot of them have been less than eager to speak with us, and we may have no choice but to re-examine payment plans for our current students' tuition. Federal investigative officials have no formal comments at this time, but some local law enforcement officers have described seeing federal agents frustrated with the so-called witch. Criticism of the response has begun to surface from the political realm, with Senator Colt now formally calling for the Director of Investigations to testify as to the progress or lack thereof in the search for the serial arsonist. Another notable, "Hey, we don't seem to have your ID in our database. If you fill out a simple form for us, we can get you the rest of this article along with a ton of other cool offers and limited time sales. Served up exclusively to a complement ID 09 like you. I feel like I've heard stories about bombing out west the last few months. But I didn't know they'd all have been attributed to one person, or that they're now calling them the Witch of the West. There's no mention of victims, only data centers being targeted.
Badass.
But clearly this witch is hitting someone where it hurts if they've now got... Sounded like feds were involved. Yeah. What really stands out here is that the federal investigators are getting involved. Most national security agencies were absorbed into the military police complex decades ago. That bureau survived, but it's a mere fraction of the size it used to be and very different in its function. Their modern reputation is that of attack dogs, deployed by the Senate to make examples of political targets. I can't say I like the idea of them being out there hunting for serial offenders. Alright, I'm done back here. So I think I've seen everything I... That's right. I was standing here last night when... It was dark and foggy. The kid was too far off to make out my face. Weren't they? What is it, Tiger? Nothing. Thought I saw someone out of the corner of my eye, that's all. Yeah. Around here, maybe it was unlisted. What do you... Those are real? Keep to themselves, obviously, but yeah, they're real. I've met some. They inform, sometimes on what they've seen. Never come in to testify, of course. You'd think they stand out dressing like that, but if their camouflage didn't work, they wouldn't be unlisted, right? What do you mean they keep to themselves? Don't they work with any of the gangs down here? Sorry, have I gotten your hopes up or something? Trust me, you've got a better chance of winning the lottery than running into one. Right, forget I asked. Individuals not actively registered in any state database. Informal designation given to individuals often missing persons or unhoused, who are not being tracked in any government database. For much of the 21st century, individuals of this description are most often undocumented immigrants. Following shifts in immigration patterns and the implementation of the Military Service Citizenship Program, aka the Minuteman Bill, undocumented immigration has sharply declined. While many non-citizens do live and work within the country, they are tracked through immigration monitoring services or as part of their military service agreement, until they either leave the country or are fully naturalized at the end of their service. Today, unlisted mostly refers to small groups of seasonal workers who travel through the country in migrating caravans to find work undercutting corporate contracts or on various agricultural or fungal installations. Fungal is fun. Also, notable framing that it implies undercutting the corporate contracts is the main purpose of the work, and not, like, you know, anything else more prominent. Some anthropological studies have described groups of unlisted living in urban, generally poorer areas as what are effectively homeless communities. Unlike most homeless people, the overwhelming majority of whom are unhoused for less than 2 weeks, these enlisted actively refuse state housing assistance or assistance of any kind. Concerns about malnourishment, illiteracy, extreme poverty, and rampant mental illness within enlisted populations has, at times, spurred outreach programs that attempt to contact them. But by their very nature as enlisted, actual data on their quality of life or cultural practices is virtually non-existent, making most politicians hesitant to commit resources towards these causes. You ready to go inside? I think so, so long as...
No, I'm not with anyone else. Just me here. She's shrill, princess. Delusional, you know that.
I'm sure she'll catch up. So you were saying this used to be an apartment building? Somewhere between that and a long-stay motel, yeah. Blue Bloods didn't deviate far from that model when they took over. They call rooms like these vaults. Places to stash away a lover, witness, debtor when there's too much heat. You've gone through all of these vaults, I take it? Zionist helped us with that. Last night, yeah. Bringing around master keys, clearing out every possible hiding place. Didn't find a red-handed killer hiding anywhere, did you? Sorry, no. So is this the Blue Bloods' forte, then? Securing people, places, and things? You could think of it that way. Guess I always assumed gangs made their money through drugs. Well, the Blue Bloods do deal here and there. But narcotics has been a rich man's game ever since the CDCA rolled in. I'm gonna go ahead and click that real quick because I'm pretty sure we saw it last part. Yeah, decriminalized all narcotics. Kind of led to some shakeups in criminal economy especially. If you have the funds to ride the gray wave the way House Icaria does, you can make a killing. They've got the market cornered from black to gray to white to pure green profit. The Blue Bloods hate that they have to make do with all the scraps the Megs in the house don't bother producing in mass. Professional jealousy. How ugly. Why can't these underworld overlords just bury the hatchet? Get together and screw over the consumer like reasonable people do? They've tried, if you believe the rumors. About a year ago now, there was some kind of meeting. An olive branch from the gold to the blues. Apparently, the Blue Bloods had a product that the Icaria wanted to distribute. The Icaria sell legal drugs now, though. And what kind of product could the Blue Bloods have that the Icaria couldn't manufacture? Not sure. Maybe that's why it went south so fast. Blood was spilled in less than an hour. The Icaria aren't the type to keep negotiating after being spat on like that. And so the Blue Bloods remain firmly planted in their low rewards niche. They might not like having to take the low end, but they are filling a gap in the market. And that's every proper capitalist's calling, right? Besides, the workers certainly appreciate their protection down here. The workers hire Blue Bloods for protection, but that's... all that stuff is legal so long as they're licensed, isn't it? Legal, yes. Respectable, most would still say no. So, household name security megs consider it too high risk to be seen in the company of workers. Doesn't help that their average board member is easily pushing 60 years old. You aren't that far from pushing 60 yourself, are you? Matter of opinion. Besides, I'm a very modern, forward-thinking man. Did you finish those 50 rosaries already? Right. And the Icaria, they don't, compete in that market? No. People at the Icaria's height might patronize a courtesan or two in the cloud districts, but they'd never lower themselves to work alongside one. Hypocrites. That much I understand perfectly. The hypocrisy is the appeal for them. The rules don't apply to me. You couldn't ask for a more pure expression of power. Worker abbreviation form of sex worker, generally used to refer to individuals who are legally licensed as such, opposed to those engaging in sex work outside of legal guidelines. Sex workers operating in high-end establishments, generally in specifically zoned municipal districts with high median property prices, cloud districts, and catering to only specific clientele may be more commonly referred to as courtesans. Please sign in to verify your age in order to display the full search results for your query. Damn. Worse than I remember. Like a demon tore through the place. Seriously. What the hell happened here? That's what we all get paid to find out, right? Yeah. I've definitely got a head start on the rest of you, though. Shall we bring up the arcs? Sure, I'll patch you in.
Allow me.
If you're needed on the phone, Miss Han, please don't let me keep you here.
Nonsense. I've got all the time in the world for you.
Everyone's treating me like a royalty today. User portal authenticating, downloading, initializing. Took the words right out of my
Who
mouth.
put this sword here?
Fuck! It's... It's reminding me of that stupid, like... I guess it counts as a political cartoon. With the guy, like the person on their phone, and the way they're holding it out and their neck is hunched over, it's the silhouette of the Facebook F.
So I was thinking about, so there's that one, and also the other one I'm thinking about when I'm looking at it is the meme where a woman is saying something minor to a man, and it's visually represented by shooting him with arrows. And that's his stance.
Where shall we start? How about with tall, dark, and mysterious in the middle here? That's your client. He was found standing over Chopin's body by the arresting officer. Rogers, right? And then he knocked Sosuke out. Correct. Wait, hold on, so... That's really interesting. They got here... Rogers and Chopin showed up together. But didn't take, like... We don't get to see, like, ARC's footage from when they got here. We see it after this, like, supposed... altercation. With Chopin already dead. I guess we'll see if that becomes relevant, but it does... it does, like, immediately off the cuff, I'm like, okay, Rogers is the most suspicious person in the case. So why is it this artistic rendition of Sosuke and not a capture from Rogers' body cam? Well, it seems like at the time... Their body cam was off? Seriously? Hey, I'd chew him out myself if he was here with us. It's department policy to have all sensors green when responding to an emergency. Did all this not qualify as an emergency then? Chopin and Rogers were responding to shots fired. That's not uncommon in this part of town. For two inexperienced officers first on the scene, it might not have come to mind. At least Chopin could use that excuse. Rest in peace. But apparently Rogers requests replacement body cams nearly every week. Okay, if he's that big of a klutz, take away his gun once the city's done throwing him a parade. I'll, put in a request. Right then. Who's next? It's interesting if they're all kind of portrayed mannequin-like. I don't I guess technically the arcs we got in episode 1 didn't have a body in it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember episode 0 enough. Ah! Okay, well, you've got a few things, so... Blood loss from the neck. Even I can tell that much. Stabbed with a bladed weapon right near the carotid artery. Carotid. They carotid him right in the artery.
Oh no, it is carotid. Why did I think it was carteroid? Probably my own dyslexia.
Maybe there's multiple arteries. Because I feel like carteroid sounds like a thing too, but maybe I've also just heard it misspoken or seen it misspelled or something. Very efficient.
It's the carotid, not the carotid.
I know, I corrected myself.
Oh,
Literally
dies.
the second I said it.
Dies badly.
Not the kind of kill someone could make without prior experience. My client's a humble bodyguard.
Come on now. I know you've got a job to do, but you'll shame him if you don't let him take credits for this one. Miller was no joke in a fight. Take him out with one clean stab to the neck using his precious signature katana. The hound must be itching to brag about it.
I'll defer to the medical examiner on this matter. Thank you very much. What do you mean? Sato said the same thing. Katana to the neck and not so many words. Is Miller's blood even on the katana? Even if it is, why would a medical examiner assume the katana was used here when my knife is a much better fit for... My knife. Where is it? Where? I gave Sosuke the knife before I left. It should have been found on him when he was arrested. It should be somewhere in the arcs. You looking for something, Tiger? If they haven't found the knife and I ask about it anyway, that'd mean admitting that I know that it's missing. If I tell them Sosuke mentioned a knife that only the killer would know about, I'd be ruining my case before we even enter the courtroom. Or worse, pointing the police in the direction of the knife's real origin. No, Was anything found on my client's person when he was arrested? Besides a gun, a sword, and a bunch of blood that did and didn't belong to him? No, not even any lint in his pockets. Why do you ask? No reason. Sometimes you gotta shake the tree to see what falls out. Or so they say. Oh, you were blindly guessing. I've been there.
Food.
Something must have happened to that knife. It couldn't have just disappeared. Not from a crime scene locked down like this. I'll need to find it, but I can't just go looking for it. Is this what it feels like to play with a handicap? Okay. Do a quick ceiling scan just in case. I'd advise you to brace yourself before opening the autopsy photos for this one, Counselor. Yes, this is sufficiently obfuscated. A lot to take in.
So awesome.
The skull was crushed? Yes, but the cause of death was blood loss from a laceration across the neck. He hit the floor and bled out in seconds. Everything else you're seeing there is post-mortem. Overkill.
Not the word I'd use for this kind of shit.
Oh, calm down. I didn't do it for the fun of it.
You big baby.
In this specific instance, this victim had modded eyes. Seems to me like someone just didn't want to take any chances.
Bullshit. No one in the lower wards would get optic mods with recording functionality. You wouldn't be welcome anywhere. You to claim the Hound of Ikari I didn't know something that fundamental? Nah, he bashed his brains in for the fun of it. I'm sure to a law-abiding citizen like yourself, we're all scum of the earth who deserve...
I'm pretty scummy myself, Han. Defense attorney, remember?
Hell deserves shit like this.
Deserves? What does that have to do with anything? I take it that this bat is what did the deed? Matches the splinters found inside his wounds, if you had any doubts. There's nothing here about Sosuke's fingerprints. You think we could get anything but parcels off of that? It's practically splinters. Makes sense. I was the one who actually swung it down, and I was wearing gloves by then. Whoever did this, they were damn enthusiastic. You know how hard they'd have to swing to crush a skull? To break the bat itself? I can't imagine. Was barring Sasuke from exiting the other room before she used it to destroy Trey's eyes, but no one else knows that and she has no way of informing them. Splintered beyond repair. Inconclusive fingerprint analysis. There's some faint blood that's been smeared here. Did it belong to this victim? And Sasuke. I wonder if maybe the bodies hadn't gotten moved around for some reason, but your client's legs and feet were soaked in others' blood when he was arrested, and he would have had to sneak up on Chopin in order to stab him in the back. You think he slid his feet across the ground to avoid making noise? Does he say otherwise? I'll let you keep guessing on that one. Through this door is where they were keeping Sosuke, and where I let him off the leash. I'll leave that for after I finish in here. Gah. This screen. I turned it on to distract Tanks long enough to grab his gun. And I remember choosing not to turn it back off. Interesting setup. Powerful setup. Was blaring when we arrived. The sound system, I mean. One of the CS techs is a real audiophile. Said it broke her heart how loud they must have blared the speakers all the time. Wears it out, she said. I wouldn't count on orcas to value the longevity of their tech purchases. Sound system, still playing music loud about the time the crime scene text started scanning. Really was giving me a headache when I turned it off. Didn't enjoy having to turn it back on before I left just to leave no trace. Windows open to the fire escape in the alley below. There's a thin misting of blood across them. Got a good guess as to who it belongs to. This is where we found Creek, leader of the pod. Ballistics tells us the shooter was standing in front of the desk. Near where my client was found. Your words, not mine. Nasty slug burst in his chest, blew blood back onto the windows behind him. The open windows. Hell of a spread. Yes, it is. Did someone open these, or...? No. They were open when we secured the scene. Any fingerprints? Plenty on the handles there, from Creek and his pod. That's where the handles are? Something wrong? Definitely, but how the hell could I explain why I know that? No, sorry, I guess I'm wondering about the keys around his neck in the arcs. Oh, well, one was a master key. Could unlock any other door in the building. The other key we eventually paired to a small safe in his desk. Empty, though. Suppose that's all irrelevant, since he apparently died with the keys on his person. Yeah, they caught my eye too, to be honest, but not every detective's instinct pans out. Windows position behind Creek opens to the fire escape. Blood splatter across the windows has been traced back to when a Magus shell split inside Creek's ribcage. Fingerprints on the handles match Creek and the pod.
Who could say where that came from?
We just can't be sure. So, who was this guy? Curious? Only professionally. I don't care what he was before I killed him. Criminal record dating as far back as it goes. Sealed when he turned 18. What makes you so sure he has a juvenile record, then? The more experience these guys get, the more time in between their arrests. Pattern I'm seeing, he was pretty damn experienced by the time he was of age.
You trying to compliment him?
I wasn't trying to insult him, Han. Anything you'd like to add?
Nah, nothing I want to say in front of you two.
If you want to say a few words, the detective and I could step...
Only words I have are for his killer. I'll deliver them in person, or not at all.
Fair enough. Do you have any idea why someone might want to hurt this Creek fellow?
It's not funny. That dog you're defending.
It's a fair question, Han. Give it fair consideration.
Besides the Icaria, the rest are our city's finest. No, Creek was charismatic and driven. Plus, he made us a lot of money. No true blue would want him gone. The bloodthirsty Icaria soldier he was interrogating, however, probably wasn't a huge fan.
What about family?
This is getting old fast.
Younger brother's listed as his next of kin.
Keep his brother out of this. Hell, leave me out of this. Rooting through a person like you're picking zits.
Well, seems he's out of town anyway. Taking summer lessons at How Mariner U. That's a good school. An expensive school. Younger brother has no listed occupation. Also no priors and no juvenile record. TAD at his age? Poor kid. Pills for that cost an arm and a leg. Creek must have been sending him... Detective, did you just leak the confidential medical data of a non-suspect to a third party? Hey, you don't have to report. How about I buy an ice cream or something? Bribery, too? You're digging yourself pretty deep. Is it still bribery if I'm the government official? Ow. Okay. The big one. He made a strange face when I shot him and a loud slam when he hit the floor. This one. Real long rap sheet. With a short ending. Buckshot to the torso. Died instantly. Flexware on his mods put his time of death at 9:44 p.m. Killed by his own weapon. Comes up a bit short of poetic justice, but it doesn't look like he was in any kind of struggle for it beforehand. But how'd someone manage to get it off his hands? It wasn't any great feat, I assure you. Techs identify it as a double-barreled Mag US and... a little shark decal.
Oh,
Like
I just noticed that.
Almost looks like a fuse or something on the chain. Hey, how do you know the gun was his? He's still wearing the holster in the arcs. Was I mistaken? No. About a week ago, Tinks here was stopped and frisked by a patrol unit. And they found this here gun on him. They found this gun on him, and they just handed it back to him. He bought and paid for it above board. So this gun isn't jailbroken? You have tag data from the murders? No, we don't. Strange. According to the text, the gun is jailbroken. What happened between last week and last night that he'd get the tag stripped off? Something that made him think this piece would see action soon. Short barrel maglev firearm registered to Ankirtan. Found on Sosuke. Fingerprint analysis shows that he gripped it in his left hand. No one else's fingerprints are present. Modified to an illegal extent, the slugs fired detonate after penetrating, increasing lethality, and it leaves no digital traces from when or where it fired. Horribly gaudy, but got the job done. Last I saw it, I'd left it in Sosuke's waistband. Okay. Oh. Papers scattered all over his desk. Suppose I'm partially to blame. I didn't exactly memorize his setup before I started searching for the mask. What's this? What'd you find there? A note? Looks like Creek's handwriting from the other files I've seen. M. Icaria.
Macaria.
Looks like M. Icaria, actually. He's dead, London. I was gonna let the spelling mistake slide. Right, sorry. But M? That's gotta be Makoto, right? You know Makoto? I know he's the Ikaria's heir apparent. From what I hear, he's an appropriately frightening young scion.
Oh yeah, he's terrifying.
He's really quite something. But why would his name be on Creek's desk? He was Creek's real target the other day. Sosuke was some kind of consolation prize. Bagging the Hound was a consolation prize? These punks had their sights set high. Yeah. Like no one taught them not to stare at the sun. Okay, there was something else here. Do a quick mouse over it again to make sure we've just got the two things left.
Yeah. And if ever you're not sure, there is control.
That's true. Handwriting by and larger match for other documents penned and initialed by Creek. Creek's fine wood desk. He seemed particular about it. Maybe in no small part because it had a priceless and no mask hidden inside it, but... I assume you've been through this datapad here? Front to back, but we didn't find anything we didn't already know. Seems like Creek was smart enough to use it for payments and nothing else. How do you manage that? Even gangsters need spreadsheets. Hence the paperwork you see scattered about. They really did everything by hand? PPP is what they call it over in organized crime. Paper and pencil protocol. Helps the orcas keep their books off the books. Have a quick check on that. Attachment for processing non-standard identification info, commonly sold to allow payment processing of unusual or rare forms. Fingerprints were found matching Creek and Chopin, which is interesting. Datapad is locked at Creek's fingerprints. Dark card is stuck quite firmly into the attached card reader. Couldn't avoid touching it. Had to at least pretend the dark card would work. Or at least in a format that's easier to destroy should push come to shove. Did you run checks on this credit card that's jammed in here? Ah, not surprised you don't recognize it. That there's a dark card. Wow, tell me more. Wow, tell me more. It's an untraceable wallet in the palm of your hand. I would hope any wallet could fit in the palm of your hand, detective. But you really can't find the owner? Can't trace any of its transactions? Most we can tell is the datapad registered calls to dark card networks at around 9:40 p.m., but it timed out. What does that mean? The transfer didn't go through. Either someone got cold feet or they forgot their password. Happens to the best of us. Come on now. Physical card key begins the authentication process for accessing funds located in a cryptographically secure account without the fingerprint and a 24-digit passcode. Card alone is functionally useless. All fingerprints have been wiped off it at some point, so they can recognize that. And still stuck in the datapad. The only reason I had to take my gloves off in the first place was because of this useless piece of plastic. By the way, why has this cloth been flagged? Not sure. Forensics didn't find any blood on it. Who flagged it? Lady Rockford herself. Could be that she fat-thumbed it. Yeah, I'm sure it's nothing. Interesting. If that wasn't the cloth... My first thought of that was maybe the cloth Morgan used to wipe fingerprints off. So I don't know if it would be the kind of thing that could have anything traceable on it. Maybe there's something else notable that we don't know. Okay. One last flashbang. Who the hell are you, really? Why are you lying there dead right in the middle of my crime scene?
You ruined it! You ruined the beautiful thing I made!
You were not supposed to be here.
Make your own crime scene!
That was Tariq Chopin, as you might guess. A patrol officer and the son of two loving fathers, who've strongly emphasized to the chief of police their desire to see justice done. Reyes wasn't exaggerating about how he died. Run through from behind with a sword. So he would have been standing in front of the desk, then he was impaled. Then he collapsed to the floor face first, and the sword got stuck in the ground. Bad luck for the attacker, I suppose. Yeah, Dr. Satos noted in her report that the stab wound was, in her words, jostled. Pardon? Like the attacker tried to pull it out, but it was stuck, so they had to jiggle it around? Hey, it's probably what saved Roger's life. Kept your client distracted and disarmed long enough to give Rogers time to rush in. Allegedly. Not where I left you, that's for sure. And according to Sosuke, the one thing he does recall after I passed the baton to him is gripping his sword. You're not giving me much to work with.
Sorry, just 1 second. I'm just answering someone's question.
No sweat.
Fingerprints on the grip match your client's right hand, by the way.
Here I was, getting my hopes up.
And it definitely wasn't suicide, because no one else's prints are on the damn thing.
I ruled out suicide once I saw he was stabbed in the back, thank you. There are papers scattered underneath his body. Did I knock them off the desk at some point? Maybe when the tall one hit the ground? Or maybe when I was swinging that bat down on... Hang on. What kind of paper is this? I can't read a word.
Really? You should get that looked at.
My vision's 2020. What am I looking at, Miss Site Manager?
Those docs are internal business, ma'am. Nothing to worry your pretty little head over.
How do you know they're internal business if we can't read them?
You really never seen red ink before?
Never heard of it.
It's a corporate information security protocol. Files with special flags trigger civic print commands if you try to make physical copies. Makes it use some kind of special ink. Try to take a photo of it and it comes out a bright blur. Paper's special too. Too much heat, humidity, becomes illegible.
A corpse pointing out on top of you is a lot of heat and humidity. So these documents contain confidential data that the Blue Bloods wouldn't want getting out?
What do they say in the movies? I can't confirm nor deny that.
And if I subpoenaed the data?
Do your worst. We got lawyers too. And like your client, they got all the time in the world to stall. Besides, you and I both know exactly what the Hound's motive was. And it isn't written in those pages. It's written all over his busted up face.
Sure. But you won't mind if I copy down whatever I can anyway, right?
I wouldn't have any legal reason to stop you if that's what you're getting at.
Okay, so the sword. Found impaled into Chopin. Steel is chipped at several points, especially the tip. Fingerprints on the handle match Sosuke, nobody else. Blood residue on the blade matches Chopin, Miller, and Trey. Another murder weapon I had to wipe prints off before taking my leave. It was indulgent trying to take Trey's head off. It wasn't my only indulgence either. I must have gotten Miller's blood on the blade's tip when I dragged it across the floor.
Oh, just to call attention to, it is 3:14. Or
yeah.
PST.
I'm gonna get to like it feels like we're definitely getting close to a good like scene break. Red ink documents found at the scene of the crime, mostly blotted out by the blood from Chopin's corpse, apparently contained confidential information of high value, but only the occasional page number, graphic, or name can be spotted. Snippets include presumably dollars required of expansion of eminent domain with proper eminent domain. I've heard that term. Payments to support of maybe construction. Re-election, probably councilmen long to push for, colloquially referred to as the lower wards. Stress the importance, OPSEC of the highest level. So, documents about...
The upcoming.
Presumably the... I mean, obviously, councilmen, this could be vote, like, the elections, probably the Atlas Pillars or whatever they were called, and... Again, if the thing from episode 1 that mentioned the Icaria was about the Atlas Pillars in some way, then that would make sense that this is also related. However successfully the Blue Bloods are operating in opposition to the Icaria family. Writing technology Information security protocols designed to hamper attempts to copy physical documents. Names become synonymous with anti-dissemination technology in general. While different organizations will make use of different technologies to achieve their data security goals, the original system's core principles are still widely taught and practiced in business administration courses around the globe. First developed in the mid-21st century amidst widespread concerns about hackers' newfound capabilities after the ThirdNet code leak, Red Ink practices emphasize the vulnerability of digital systems and espouse the relative reliability of physical documents, printed or even handwritten information that cannot be changed or stolen except through in-person action. More broadly, Red Ink systems are designed to minimize the time that critical information spends changing hands. Critics of the teachings thus claim it is antithetical to cooperation between peers and leads to siloing of information. Red ink is also commonly used to refer to any kind of printed text material that incorporates anti-piracy measures. Common examples include anti-photocopy or sheen gloss, paper that degrades outside of extremely narrow moisture conditions, cipher-encrypted text based on extinct indigenous languages, and sleeper marks, printer machine codes left on the corners of documents that are invisible to the naked eye but are unique to individual printers. Interesting. Okay, looks like that's everything in here. Well, I don't envy either of your workloads. It's a mess in here. It's a lot of blood, that's for sure.
I'm impressed you haven't gotten nauseous, miss.
I'd be right at home here if you all weren't poking your noses around.
Making
Shoot.
blood angels.
Shoot, I just remembered. I'll never hear the end of it if I don't check in with my partner after saying I would. You two good to keep going if I step out to make a call?
Call? Is your partner your mom? And is your mom blind? Send a text.
Thanks for your understanding.
Maybe he was the one with the weak stomach. You be sure to let me know if you're feeling faint.
I can keep going. We're nearly finished anyway.
I'd stick to the arcs if I were you. Nothing behind that door that's better seen in person.
You've been such a gracious host up until this point, Miss Han. Why the cold feet now?
It's ugly in there.
Uglier than this?
Different kind of ugly, then.
It's all in the eye of the beholder.
I warned you.
Don't worry, I can stomach it just fine. So long as I can understand it. Why did Creek's Pod torture my clients?
I don't know that they did.
Sosuke told me they electrocuted him, Han.
They probably just grounded him. Low-grade current supplied every few minutes. Stops most mods from rebooting. So no SOS pings, no adrenaline bursts pulled out of his ass.
And the pliers, hammers, and syringes? What purpose did they serve? They could have just killed Sosuke when they failed to nab Makoto. Instead, they dragged him down here. Why? To try and get info on Makoto's itinerary? Get enough intel to make another run at him? If there are any answers for me in here, I'll need a grout scraper to find them. How many things?
Remembering how much might be left in investigation, you might want to pause here.
Yeah, even, only 2 things. Since we're already over time.
Ugh.
That's alright, though.
I have to say, I think it's really beautiful and just a completely perfect fulfillment of the game's concept to be in a situation where It's like in the first game, you didn't know that you did the murder, or the demo, you didn't know that you did the murder till it was over. This is, you did the murder, you intentionally tried to frame someone, and now you have to defend them about the murder you watched yourself do.
It's such a good, like... Other than some of the asides, episode 1 didn't really have much, like... The asides and, like, some of the bits at the end. It didn't have much reflection on... like, Morgan's double life and her criminality and all of that, so having this episode so much more heavily lean into playing with it is really striking.
Yeah, it was definitely good for episode 1 to like take the time to actually exist around Morgan being normal.
Normal for Morgan.
Normal for girls.
Normal for girls. But either way, that is going to do us today. It's all very exciting. It feels like, in addition to focusing more on that kind of stuff, it also feels like we're getting into the action just a little quicker. Like, I guess technically we probably hit the crime scene at about the same rate, but we have a much better idea of what is going on this time around.
And also, like, you started off with action.
That too, yeah. So, thank you, everybody, for watching. Friday, we are probably finishing Silent Hill F. Unless something crazy happens. And next Monday, more of the Devil. Loving it so far.
Feel good.
If you want to keep up with stream updates, you can find us on Tumblr. If you want to tune into VODs, you can find them on YouTube. And if you want to support us a little bit, we have a Ko-Fi. All usernames JuniPops.
And tomorrow I will be, God, what am I? I don't know yet. I have 3 really bad games that I have on the docket. I'll pick between, and I'll be getting started on that tomorrow.
Let me get you a shout out real quick. I should plug you in the descriptions on YouTube too, maybe.
Oh, if you want.
Wouldn't hurt.
You could even link to my VOD channel if you know where that is.
I don't know if I do.
I can get that. I haven't really been on top of it, but I also haven't really been on top of streaming until 2 weeks ago.
But for now, that is going to do us today. So I hope that everybody has a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm.